What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pass the Barb. I'm Ryan Pincala, and today we got a full house, and we also have an incredible guest joining us tonight. But it is, things are rolling here in the spring, and I'm psyched to see a bunch of boys here tonight. So we are missing Mr. Cody Honor this evening, but we got the rest of the boys here. So let's just check in, see what everybody's been up to. Sam, what are you doing, bud?
Howdy, and everybody, welcome to Pass the Barb. And we want to say thank you again. I think last week we actually fell to number 2. Psych. We're still number 1 outdoors podcast in the world. Thanks to each and every one of you.
Got
him. We're number 1, baby. All because of you guys. Thank you.
Everybody needs to subscribe. Subscribe and rate. We need you.
If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, we appreciate you. But also, if you're ever on YouTube, you can watch this live too. So thank you. Will, off to you.
Yes, thank you to our great listeners and sponsors, of which we have many that pay us the biggest bucks.
It's honestly incredible.
It's awesome. I mean, we are living the highest lifestyle available. How's everybody doing tonight? It's we're coming into a great time of year. I think I love May. I think May is great all over for fishing, and
I think May might be my favorite month.
I'm with you, Adam.
Really?
May's my favorite month. Yeah,
I think it is.
I like May a lot, and it's getting good here. I just got back into my guiding season in Montana, and fishing's been pretty good. So good to be back and back to work, I guess, in a sense. So yeah.
And can we just say, Stolsky live from the barn right now?
Yeah.
This is
Never before seen on Pass the
We need
Barb.
a barn tour.
Sure, I'll do a quick walk around here because it's been a great. We've talked about it a lot, but we haven't.
All the more reason to check out the YouTube channel, folks, because it's going mobile.
If you're not seeing this right now, I mean,
so this is
Can you point out all the hot spots for mice as you go, please? The listeners would like to see.
Just all of it. So here's the entryway. So we're walking in. This is the door.
Oh yeah.
Here, okay. So we're gonna walk in, and I'll have you walk through. As we get into the entryway, this would be the kitchen, which is a little dirty right now, but we can see here full stove, full fridge, sink, etc. Coffee, liquor station here. Important.
I love that. That's a great setup there.
We kind of pan around, and here's the living room. Okay, so I have couches and an office chair and a few other sort of chairs. And then here's my bedroom. This is also a mess and disgusting, but that's kind of it. And then if we walk in here, this is the bathroom portal here. So we walk in.
Yes.
Sort of a very large space in here. So then I have my various totes and whatnot.
God, you can get a lot done in there, dude.
Yeah, you can. You can
What
shower.
a bathroom.
And, run it's back here.
Shower, because it's huge.
Shower, and then kind of a closet. So a wardrobe of sorts.
Dude, that place is
incredible.
Awesome, actually, Will.
Incredible.
It's a nice spot. It's very cool because when they did it, they saved. This used to actually be a legitimate barn. So this was a dirt floor and stables in here. But they saved all the original barnwood, which is really, really neat, and that door, that's all original. So it's cool in here. I mean, minus the mice, but it's a nice spot.
That's cool.
Damn. How's the mule doing?
Monk, good. He's happy to see me. I got him some treats. We've been hanging out.
Was he pumped? Like very obviously knew it was you?
No, not even a little bit.
He was so over it.
He's like, I don't give a shit, dude. Now that I've been giving him treats, though, he's we're back to kind of being buds. So, yeah,
I love it.
Nice to be back. So, how about you boys? What's shaking?
Bart was absent.
So. Yeah, I'm back now. Biggest thing for me, I'm back in the swing of things fishing. Just got back from a tournament in Kentucky. Did pretty good. I'm sure we'll chat about that more a little bit later. Other than that, getting ready to hit the road for some more tournaments. That's kind of why I love May. Like maybe you're a tournament or two in, been fishing a little bit, but like you get some cooler days where it's maybe rainy and cold and like spring, and then like tomorrow, my first day out for practice, like it's supposed to be 75, almost dead calm and sunny.
Tomorrow, really?
Yeah, it's going to feel like the first day of summer, basically. It's going to be awesome. So like that's why I love May is like you start getting the change of the season, the fish start doing, a bunch of different things. And yeah, I love it. But honestly, man, the biggest thing I'm pumped about right now that has been huge is everybody knows I'm a huge sports fan. And I'm from a basketball family in Minnesota. So Minnesota is a very popular basketball state, but obviously it's a state of hockey. But there's some very, very good basketball players that come from here in a good community of it. But our NBA team has sucked my whole life other than 1 year with KG. Other than that, like we were talking terrible, dumpster fire organization, awful. And the last few years, it's been looking up, going better. And you're like, man, I feel like something actually might happen. And then, got to the playoffs. And last night got to watch it. Clean sweep of the Phoenix Suns. Yeah. And it was just really fun to watch because, like, I mean, I know I'm going to get hurt and I'm totally cool with it because, like, it was so fun to watch a team that, like, dude, they just dominated. And, like, having a guy like Anthony Edwards, he is the dude, like in the NBA right now. It's sick. And it's so like, you just watch him take over games and it's so fun to watch. And I know you guys aren't necessarily as big of basketball fans, but I feel like it's a one sport out there, like team sport that you can just watch a guy put a team on their back at some point and just like carry them and be like, okay, we're going to go win. And last night Ant did that. And it just like signature statement dunk on Kevin Durant. And it was awesome to end the series. So
that's cool.
That's what I was pumped about. So I'll be watching. Get to watch basketball in May. I'm pumped.
I feel like I'm an extremely casual, not invested basketball fan, but I do like the Bucks. So I kind of hope to see your dreams come shattering down with a team that I care just barely about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. That sounds
about right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs and everything too, and the Stanley Cup playoffs are a blast to watch. Like,
oh yeah,
best playoffs probably of any pro sport.
Oh but yeah, for sure.
They're so fun to watch. But it's really fun to watch a team to have it matter.
Oh
so
yeah,
it's cool. Like, especially the NBA season's so long, man. Like, I went to a Wolves game or two back in like December when I was like, oh, I think they're actually going to be good. I'm going to get there before the tickets are too expensive. So I went to a few games and I was like, yeah, they are good. And now they're, in the playoffs. It's fun to watch. The community is all about it. And yeah, well, sweet.
Is A-Rod going to buy the team? Did that go through or didn't it?
That's in a weird, I listened to another podcast about it. And basically the way I understand it right now is all the documentation is done and all the payments have been made at the correct dates and everything. And basically Glenn Taylor was like, oh no, I have a really good team and I sold it for 1.5 billion, even when it was valued at like 2.5, like one of the cheapest franchise, like New Orleans or something sold for a little over 2 and he sold it for like 1.5. And then all of a sudden they got really good. And now it's worth like double or triple.
But it's a done deal now, right?
Yeah, but he's just like, but no, I'm not going to do it. And it's like, but you kind of have to, but so like, I don't technically know what's happening.
But if it's not finalized, like he doesn't have to do anything.
He's like, I didn't sign it.
Yeah, but I think everything's signed and done, but it's still like, I don't know.
Can you imagine the legality behind that? If you're like buying an NBA team and A-Rod and his, investors, they're like, hey, you said 1.5 billion, and he's like, no.
Well, dude, the thing is, this deal was signed like 3 years ago, and the reason a lot of people didn't do it with Glenn Taylor was, once again, this is just from me listening to a few other podcasts and reading a few other articles. So don't quote me as a factual source. This is just what I've read.
Sure.
But basically what I have read on it and seen is this deal was done 3 years ago and nobody else would buy the team from Glenn Taylor because Glenn Taylor said that he wanted, for the good of the team and the organization and everything, that for it to be a 3-year transition. Whereas like normally when someone else buys a team, it's like done, swap, game over. Like, not that type of deal. He wanted to do it over 3 years because the biggest worry for the Timberwolves forever, because they've been so terrible, is that Glenn Taylor doesn't want someone to buy it and move it.
Yeah, that was my impression too. He just did not want the Timberwolves to leave Minnesota.
Yes, and and that's about the only thing, like, out of anybody who's a basketball fan in Minnesota, the only credit anyone will give Glenn Taylor for doing something for the Wolves is keeping them in Minnesota, because otherwise he's an awful owner. He's terrible. Their organization has been awful. And you've watched them become good the last 3 years with A-Rod and Mark Lore starting to take over as it was signed. So this is like the last year of that. And Glenn has not been involved like at all, and is basically now swooping in and being like, look at what I did. and not wanting to hand it over. So it's going to be really interesting actually to see what happens in terms of the legality and that paperwork, because it seems like Mark Lore and A-Rod still, like, they're not backing down. Like, they're like, no, this is our team, and it's going to end up being our team. So I don't know how that's going to pan out.
Be interesting to see what shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Go T-Wolves, though. I'm happy for them.
Oh, yeah. Go Wolves.
I know
it's going to be an emotional run for you, Bart.
Hayes has to be ecstatic. Have you talked to Hayes?
Hayes, like,
God,
I'm pumped. I cannot imagine how Hayes feels, because
Hayes is flipping out.
Hayes is a bigger NBA fan than I am. Like, I love college basketball and I love basketball, but like, he's been a diehard Pups fan when, like, they won like 18 games.
He was probably like at the negotiation for this deal, dude.
He goes to like tens of games a year. Like,
dude, Adam, I feel so semi-educated right now, because anytime we're in the car or we'll go out to South Dakota, he's listening to the same podcast I'm sure you are, of like Timberwolves Insider and stuff like that. He's freaking breaking it down like, dude, A-Rod is pissing blah blah. We're gonna move the T-Wolves and blah blah blah. Yeah, he just recently he wore his aunt jersey to this crappie tournament this past weekend, and he was flexing on it the whole time.
Dude,
he's proud, dude. He's proud.
That is the one thing, like I said, that is just so cool, is looking at Anthony Edwards and being like, holy shit, we might have, like, you know, like when the Packers had Rodgers, or like the Chiefs have Mahomes, or, you know, like other, like LeBron in Cleveland, and you're like, oh my God, they have this guy who's just going to carry him for years. I think we have that guy. And it's like, holy shit, it actually happened. It took a long time.
Now you just got to actually get it done.
Yeah. So it's fun to watch. It's very fun to watch. It's cool to actually watch SportsCenter and stuff and have people talk about Minnesota basketball, and they're like, they're really good.
In a
like,
positive
no way.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Talk about us like this? It's amazing.
All right. So go T-Wolves.
Go T-Wolves. Let's move on from that. There's your T-Wolves talk. We'll see how this goes.
We'll check back in.
Yeah. The good thing is, in 2 weeks, we should be in the middle of the next series, or it's completely over. So this could turn out pretty funny.
Yeah. We'll see how this ages.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
All right. Let's flip the script from basketball to some hunting action. Ryan, you dropped a Turk.
I did, dude.
Ryan,
I did it.
Yeah.
I got it done, boys. Meat on the ground.
And on film?
On film with a bow, dude.
Come on.
Lasered him. Yeah, I turkey down in Minnesota. So I had hunted like 2 days out by Griff, actually. Had some action out there, but like it was just weird. Like they were all still flocked up, and I had like it was not happening there. So I hunted down by Welch, actually, like kind of by Red Wing, you know, down that way. And yeah, got in, epic morning. They were gobbling their brains out. It was snowing. It was super sweet, and called one right in, and like it was sweet because it was one of those ones where he hung up out there. He was strutting, doing the whole thing. Got him to come right into the decoy, and he squared up with the decoy, and I shot him at 11 yards.
That's so sweet.
It was so sick. He was gobbling and everything. It was really cool. So
were you kind of shaking? Like, was your adrenaline?
Oh, dude, I was jacked up, especially because I got to watch him for probably like 25 minutes at like 40 yards before he came in all the way. And so I was like initially kind of jacked up when he first like came out and everything and that whole thing. And I had some other ones that came in behind me to like under 20 yards, and they're gobbling behind me, and he was still like working in. So it was an exciting thing, like overall. And I was just like, I went out there just kind of on it. Like I had scouted it a week before, and it was pretty loaded up with birds, but I didn't have like I didn't put any to roost or anything. So I got kind of lucky because the one that I ended up shooting, after I got set up, he was probably roosted 75 yards from where I set up. So I got him all lathered up, dude. He was just going nuts on the tree, and he flew down and pretty much came right to the little clearing I was in. And yeah, it was dirty, and it was a big bird. It was I think 25.2 pounder.
Wow,
pretty good sized turkey.
That's a big turkey.
Yeah. So butchered his ass up, you know.
Did you cook him at all?
I cooked some of it. I have another. Well, I still have quite a bit of meat from it, so I got a few other things I'm gonna do, and there should be a video about it with the cooking, the whole thing should be sick.
Okay, we won't get.
But it's the kill shot's cool. Like it's straight. I think I sent you a little Instagram or Snapchat or something. But
was there even a little extra adrenaline because you're like, oh my gosh, I think I got that on film?
Well, the thing was, so I had a tripod like in there. I had like a ground blind set up. I had the camera on a tripod. And when he came out, I had like nothing like pointed to that direction where he was coming, but it was so like, I'm not moving because like he's in the wide open. I'm in a blind that is not hidden very well. Like he came out. So I was just like, I'm just not going to move. And I'm like calling and trying to get him to come. And eventually once he starts walking in, he goes behind this little cedar bush at like probably 20 yards and he's coming right into the decoys. And I had like 2 seconds. I literally like swing the camera around, click it on, hit record on the thing, draw my bow back, and then he just walks in perfect. Like everything is just set up. He walks right into the setup, and it was like so good, so awesome. Perfect. So yeah, once I was at full draw though, and I was like sitting there in the camera, like I could see it was recording and everything. I was like, oh, this is going down, dude. This is gonna be so sick. Yeah.
You were solo, Ryan. It was just you.
It was.
Oh, even cooler to get that on camera. That's no easy task.
Yeah. But it was one of them deals, though. It's like I let it rip and it whacked him, and he died like immediately, like literally flipped off the decoy and just dead, like didn't do anything. And I'm just like sitting there because when you're by yourself and like shit like that happens, you're just sitting there. You're like,
that's just
did somebody see that? Because that was sick.
It's cool though. You got it on camera.
It's cool. And he came in all pissed off. It was pretty sweet. So
that's tight.
Are the ticks bad?
Incredible.
Really?
Incredible. Dude, I'm talking like I was in the woods for probably 4 days so far, like hunting or scouting or whatever, and no less than probably 25 a day.
Oh wow.
The worst, man.
Yeah, like every time. Like I literally am getting back and like peeling everything off at the truck because they're like everywhere, dude. Like they're crawling on the ceiling of my truck and shit. Like I get out to go to work in the morning and they're just like on the ceiling. Like they're just living in there.
The El Nino winter gave birth to just
hell of a tick spawn.
Oh, I bet it is a bumper crop, no doubt about that.
There's like billions of these tiny little bastards. They're like tiny. Like I've never seen them that small.
Are they deer ticks?
They must.
I don't know, dude.
That's spooky. Deer ticks are the ones
when they're that little. I can't identify. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
I have Lyme's disease. Do you guys have Lyme's disease?
Yeah. You do?
I have it. Yeah. Once you get it, you have it forever.
Yeah, I just didn't know you ever got it. I don't think
every time I've had like one of the bullseye rashes, I just go and get a big jar of those horse pills, you know, and they just make you eat them. You know what I'm talking about? Those, what is it? Doxycycline, I think is the stuff.
Yeah, it's like a big heavy antibiotic kind of thing.
I don't know, but they're ginormous pills, and you got to eat the whole container of them, and it's like ridiculous.
What's that Camel brand out there that makes?
Oh yeah, what's it called?
Those pants that are like tick repellent. I heard they're super legit. This is
really like
this is not a sponsor of the pod, and we can't even probably think of their name, but
yeah,
it's a legit brand that makes like these tick pants, and you don't get them.
I know, like I used to like spray my stuff too with that stuff.
The permethrin.
Yeah. That would, I guess, help, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have a bunch of that stuff too, and I never use it.
It's just like so potent though. You have to hang it out, like your stuff outside, and it has to sit for like days, I think.
Yeah, you have to like pre-treat your clothes, but once you do it, it's like it's on.
It's good to go.
Yeah.
But
I didn't do that. So I would recommend it because the ticks are insane. So
yeah, it's gonna be a good year for ticks.
What about wild chives? Have you been foraging?
Dude, I have not much. I saw you post a little teaser, shroomage.
But dude, should be really good in like the next week, shouldn't they? With all this rain and shit we got, it should get awesome.
The next warm weather, I think it's gonna go down.
I think so too.
Well,
We
it's
just
supposed
need
to be
some sun.
70 the next like 2 or 3
stuff's
days. in the
just
sun.
starting to green up, like, or at least around here.
Sure.
Like, it's because I've seen some pictures getting posted on Instagram, dude, of people that are finding them, and it's like their stuff's growing a little more already, like the greenery.
Yeah.
But I think, dude, I'm thinking within a week it's gonna go.
In Minnesota, yeah, I've heard reports.
Yeah.
Obviously, down south, people have been finding them, and then
Yeah, I
in
know
Iowa-
Cade was cooking some down in the River Valley, so the River Valley's starting to go.
Winona Lacrosse, people have been finding them. I saw that
Yeah.
on Cade's story too.
It's
and
kind of
then-
crazy. You can
We're-
like follow it as it comes. You're like
Yeah.
watching people that you know where they live, and you're like, son of a gun.
We're a little early here, but I think it's gonna happen.
Oh, he's got one. You bastard.
That's a good one.
I
So-
still
you
don't
guys-
think I've ever actually had any of those.
So what this
Oh,
is this is actually a keychain,
Oh,
of
you
morel
son of a
mushroom,
bitch, you
and,
got us.
and it's whittled out of a
Come on.
deer antler.
Really?
cool.
That's-
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's a little
super cool.
Dremel. But
Incredible.
yeah,
Would you guys agree that I don't think there's anything more secretive than like mushroom spots. Like people are way more protective over
Dude.
them than like fishing spots,
Oh,
hunting
yeah.
spots.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It is.
the mushroom spots are like the most, especially morels, it seems like, are the most top secret like intel you could get off of
like
somebody.
you don't speak of it. You don't go like, oh, if I tell them this, they're not going to find. Like you don't even give them a
No.
clue.
No,
People don't
No.
talk about it at all.
No,
At all.
people-
People
post
have these
pictures, like, a
spots
week
for
later.
years that will
Yeah.
sometimes give to them. Like, and that is like family heirloom that's passed down.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
nice because I've got a couple spots here on the river, like on some of these islands where I'll stop and do lunch with the clients. And then I can just go walk around and like pick a few, like it just
Oh,
very like
that's
nondescript, but just like get like enough for dinner, you know?
yeah.
That's sweet.
I like
I was
that.
going to ask that next. Like, what, like, so they grow pretty decent out by you.
We do get some. I don't think it's quite as like prolific as like that like Lacrosse area
Yeah.
or other places in Minnesota, but definitely here they are a thing for sure. But I'm not like super dialed into it. If I see them, I pick them, but like I don't know. I'm not like actively like searching out like
Yeah.
killer spots. There's
Dude,
people
are you-
that do, but
Have you seen these guys? Like, I've found them, right? Like, I'm not like an expert at this, but I have some spots that I've found them before and found like a good, a solid amount of them.
yeah.
But like, you see these guys that are just filling up like Rubbermaid containers and like,
And,
bed of
yeah.
a truck.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, where is that going down, dude?
Like,
I don't know.
I saw pictures the other day of this guy that had like a full pizza and he had morels piss covered on it. Like he made
Yeah.
a morel mushroom pizza.
yeah,
and I
and they're
was
like,
like, how
easy
blessed.
day.
Yeah. How blessed you got to be that you're like, let's just cover a full pizza and morels, dude.
I
Like,
know.
no
Yeah,
problem.
dude, I don't know. Those
The-
guys are on like a whole different, but you'll never know where they were. So
No.
No.
But now that I have like, because normally like this time of year, like I spend like a lot of weekends like turkey hunting or doing whatever. Now that I got mine and I'm like done, dude, I think I'm gonna hit the shrooms pretty hard and get out there and find a pile.
true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to, dude.
You got to. You got to forage. Always
You
gotta
got to forage.
You got to. But it
It
makes
is
you like
fun.
every time you're like driving by like a little wood block, and you're like, I should just go in there.
I just recently lost a bet and my mom has been lucky. So between Stephanie, my mom and my dad, we all put $20 in and we wrote down the dates we thought when we would find the first morel. It could be any of us four, but just like when will we spot the first morel? And I'll grab it. Hold on, let me grab it.
I feel like the morel game though is just like it's weird because it's like the timing is always different. Like
In
it's
my-
generally around the same, but
It is. It seems like every year it's been around the same. It's kind of right around fishing opener, beginning of May.
Yeah.
But the ice came off like,
early
in the metro area, like super earlier, and it was like hot. Like within a week, it was like 70. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And it was right around that time we made these bets. And I was kind of shooting for the moon. I went April 18th. Steph said May 4th, which I really thought she was going to win. My mom said April 28th.
Mhm.
And my dad said April 24th. And I found the first morel of our season last Saturday. So that was the 27th. So my mom wins $60.
Damn,
And she wins everything, dude. She wins-
incredible.
yeah. So, all right, we'll change gears here to some fishing action. Either Will or Bart or somebody. What's
Well,
the
why don't you
fishing
tell us?
ripple?
You just fished a freaking tournament, dude.
Yeah,
You fished the Derby, brother.
Derb. How did it
Derb.
go?
Well, I took 14th. Won money. Won quite a bit of money, actually. But
10 G's.
yeah,
10 G's.
We are not talking a little bit of money. We're talking
10 G's.
We're talking 4 PF, 4 pockets full Bart.
Yeah, 4 pockets full.
4 PF. 4 PF. That's the little baby in the crew. That's what they do. 4 PF. But
yeah, no. Yeah, so I was down at Kentucky.
Shout out, little babe.
Fished the MLFLW Tackle Warehouse Invitational on Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, I went down there hoping that it was going to be a similar type of bite to what I ran into last year. I went out there for about 3 minutes and I was like, yep, this is going to get wild. And
Daddy's home, you said.
Yeah, I literally went to one of my waypoints from last year, laughed,
straight to the bar,
turned around, threw at it, caught a 4.5 and went, well, and just was like, guess we're gonna start doing this again.
Was it ultimate relief? Because I know before you went down there, you were like, obviously the buy-in is $5,000. You had to be shitting your pants a little bit. And
yeah, it was a big gamble that it was actually gonna happen again. Honestly, in retrospect, the tournament was like full blown spawnathon, like full moon Tuesday, fish flying in, could not have been more perfectly timed. And I kind of wish it wasn't quite that. I think I would have done better if it was like 2 weeks earlier or 3 weeks later or something like that, and not just like that is exactly what's happening. I think I could have kind of snuck it out a little bit differently, but no, I was super stressed the week before I was driving down, but then I was just like looking at everything, the water levels, water temperatures, kind of what had been going on, and I was like, there's no way it's not happening. And then, yeah, once I went out and ran into that, I was like, okay, yeah, here we go. But the biggest thing, I mean, anybody who followed, I only weighed 15 pounds on day one. And that was 100% my fault. Like I just made really stupid decision. Sure. And it was largely because, I mean, I don't think any of us have ever fished a tournament before where like, dude, so there's 150 of us going out there. The 2 days before we're going, there's a 200 boat college derby going for 2 days, and it's a smallmouth spawning event.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, like certain parts of these, certain flats are going to get picked off, like certain fish are going to get moved. Like, so you're trying to play this chess game. And I'm like, I had found fish for like 45 miles. I wasn't really concerned about. I wasn't really
miles.
Yeah, I had waypoints forever. I fished stuff I never even fished on day 3 and caught my biggest bag. Like I feel very confident out there now. But on day 1, I was where I wanted to start. I had found a flat that I thought could produce well over 20 pounds. And the last day of practice, which was the first day of the college tournament, I was like, man, I'm just going to swing it. Dumbest decision I made of the week. I was like, I'm going to swing by it and see who's on it. And I drove by it, and there were 6 college boats absolutely murking them. And there was about 5 or 6 invitational boats then that could see them murking them and hadn't quite figured out what was going on yet. And we're scanning around the area. And this flat's like a 1/4 mile long. Like it's big, but you're still like, yeah, man, this is not optimal. But I'm like, I have a bunch of other stuff.
You got 44 3/4 miles left.
Exactly. I'm not too worried about it.
I got 45 miles of this.
Now I'm just like, damn, which one am I going to start on? Like, I really wanted to go there. So now I'm like, well, picking out of a hat, basically, of what I'm going to go to. So then day 1 occurs, and we go to blast off in the morning. And like nothing like, hey, welcome to the Pro Tour, your first tournament of the year. Like it is pouring rain and blowing a sustained 23 miles an hour out of the north on Kentucky. And you're like, well, I'm going to go start in the dead middle of the lake. So this is going to be sick. And I just blast off, and I'm boat like 120, which I wanted a later boat draw on date 1 because I wanted to see where everybody went. And then my plan was to adjust accordingly, which we now know I didn't. But I wanted to see where everybody went. I had one group of them that I was like, I don't think anyone will start here. And it was raining so goddamn hard. I got there and I just came off pad and threw my trolling motor down. And there's a guy like 50 yards from me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I just kind of started bouncing around those areas and I was catching fish. I got up to like 15 and a half pounds or so by like noon. And that's when I made the really dumb decision. Because I drove by that flat that I knew there was a ton of big ones on previously, and I hadn't even fished it yet. And I was like, there's like 3 boats out there. Those college kids were whacking them. I just don't think there's enough fish based off of what my previous experience had been the year before. So I ran out to this one spot. I could see one there on my live. I couldn't get it to bite. And I was like, okay, I have a 5 1/4 I caught in practice. That's about 40 miles away. And I got about a 4 1/2 right next to it. And I have a 2 1/4 and a 1 3/4 in my live well. Like if I go call those 2 out, I'm going to have 19 1/2, 20 pounds. I'm going to be right in this thing. And then I can figure out and then I'm going to run back. I can work my way back out here and I'm going to figure out what the hell I'm going to do tomorrow. Cause I'm trying to figure out where everybody's catching these fish. Run all the way down there. They're not there. Start working my whole way back. I don't even think I end up catching another bass the rest of the day. And I just end up stopping I got on a bad pattern of bad stops. So I was like, what the hell? And then I get in and I talk to Brad, who's from Minnesota, Brad Leitner. He was in 4th or 5th after day 1. He weighed 20 1/4 and he was on that flat when I drove by it. And I was like, did you catch them all out there? And he's like, yeah, dude, the whole top 7, all over 20-pound bags. If
you want to be on the juice, go to the juice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And
I literally,
it sounds like you should have gone to the flat.
I should have went to that flat. Yeah, I should have went to that flat. But then, dude, this is where the crazy thing of like how great Kentucky is right now really is. In my head, I'm like, okay, this whole area has gotten mutilated for 3 days.
Yeah, it's been Genghis Khan.
And I'm like, what's a 4th, I guess, right? And I go run out there to start day 1. I catch a 5 1/2 right away. And I'm like,
and you're like,
well, okay, we're making better decisions now. And I worked my way through everything, caught 19 1/4. And then by the end of day 4, I was like, there's no way there's any left. This cannot keep happening. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to run all the way to the other side of the lake and I'm going to fish brand new water next day. I literally, day 3, I ran all the way south. I like scanned around, looked around at stuff I've never fished for 2 hours, didn't even make a cast. And then I started fishing at like 9:30 and I caught almost 20 pounds in about 2.5 hours. And then
how much fuel, sorry to interject that, but how much fuel were you burning a day, would you say?
So day 1, I burned like 30 gallons.
So how big is your
day
tank?
2, I only burned like 8 gallons. I didn't run that
tank?
far.
How big is your tank?
45, 40,
big tank,
something like that. Yeah.
That's a big ass tank.
How big is your truck tank? The tank in your
30.
Wow.
Yeah, boat tank's bigger.
Probably for the best.
Yeah,
sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, 45 miles fish.
Yeah.
You know.
But no, what I was gonna say is I ran there and caught that 20 pounds and was so confident. I was like, no, there's no way those flats will hold up. I get back up there. Every one of those guys caught 20 pounds again off those same goddamn flats. And I had the same bags they did that day, so I didn't really care.
Sure.
But in my mind, I was like, how many days in a row can you go out here and just keep catching 20 pounds? Like
the flat of dreams.
We were not fishing new places, dude.
I would recommend going there
I think next time maybe just fish there the whole time. It seems to be pretty productive.
That's going to be the plan.
I think if you were to go there one more time, I'm
going to go stay on that flat probably.
I've never fished there, but I think I could catch them there, it sounds like. So.
It's pretty hard not to. Yeah. To be honest.
I think I could be onto something there.
Yes. But no,
either way,
but it ended up good, right? It ended up good.
Got 14th, got a big paycheck, got to come back home, was able to cover everything. So I can't complain about that.
And was mama like, you didn't lose $5,000? Hell yeah.
Yeah. We were all very happy when we got back.
It was a big sigh of relief.
Yeah. Very big sigh of relief because you're like, yeah, I mean, you gamble $5,000. So
don't lie to me. You totally got home and you're like, I told you I was gonna get a check. Inside your head, you were like, holy shit, we got a check.
Dude, when I caught I have the fish, like I have the whole thing on GoPro because I had to run a GoPro for all of it. And the fifth one I caught on day 2, you can hear me go, yes, I'm getting paid. Because I'm like, I knew I could do it, but I was like, God, it feels so good just to know I'm getting that $5,000 back. And then I fished so much better after I knew I was getting that money back. So I know what those guys go through now on that stress level. So, I mean, when it's all said and done, it was super cool. I'm very happy for it. I mean, no matter how the rest of my career or whatever fishing, whatever this is, I guess, goes, I get to say I fished a professional event. So I'm happy about that. That's I'm awesome. 1 for 1 in professional events, making day 3 and cashing checks. Might as well retire, call it good. Never
ain't mad at it.
I was going to say, you should quit now, Adam, while you're ahead.
I know. I really should.
And then you could be the guy that's like, I could have done it, but.
Yeah, you know, I was making so much money doing it. It was great. It was 1 for 1.
Yeah, 4 pockets full.
4 pockets full.
No, if they have another one down there,
back pockets. 4
if they have another one down there, I'll be back down there again. I love that place, man. It's so much fun.
The KY Killer.
It's so fun.
The KY Assassin.
Something.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll have it dialed for the next one.
Yeah,
no more bad decisions. That's the goal.
Well, hats off to Adam. Hats off to you. I did follow the tournament. I don't follow a lot of bass tournaments, but I followed it, and it's fun to watch from afar when you're pulling for somebody in the Derby, you know. So
yeah, it's super cool being on the other side when there is like a tracker and stuff, because like I don't look at my phone, obviously, but when like day 2, I had the bag to get paid at like noon. And I was just running around looking for 2 big ones. I actually caught that one from day 1 that I couldn't get to bite, and that was my second 5-pounder on day 2. So I was like, well, I got it to bite, so that worked. But I caught 2 that were 3 3/4 and a 5 1/4 in the last 10 minutes on day 2. So I like called up big time, and I got in, and like it's cool to look at your phone because all of a sudden you have like 15 texts of everyone like, holy shit.
Sure.
Like, well, what just happened?
Cool. I wish people would text me when I have a good day on the water. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen a lot.
No, actually never. So
well, you need like a live scoreboard. You're like out there on the river. Like, I want to know how
you just update your Instagram. You're like, hey, live scoreboard here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
dude.
We've hooked 25. Okay.
Solsky just clubbed a hatchery fish.
Yeah. 12 of them were whitefish. Okay. But they're a native species and an indicator species. So we're happy to be seeing them. That's what I tell the folks. You know, that's great to see a nice whitey out there. No, I never get those kind of good job out there, Will.
Nice.
The clients
if you put it on your story, Will, and you like show me the clicker every once in a while and stuff, I'll text you. I'll be like, looks like you're having a good day. Good work.
I'll just text me maybe once a month and just say, nice work out there. That'll be good enough.
Yeah, we'll just start that up.
I'm going to randomly pick a day and he's just going to text me back and be like, yeah, thanks, asshole. We've caught 2 fish today.
Yeah, it'll be like the worst. I'll have you
have
be like, dude, I can't even find a morel. I'm taking an hour lunch break. There's no mushrooms.
That pent up anger. Will's going to be the first one to text Adam when he loses in the next pro tournament event and be like, haha, way to fish and lose $5,000. I went fishing and made money.
I told you should have stayed on that.
Should have texted me. Karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
Told you to quit while you're on top.
Yeah, I did actually. So we'll see how this fares. But
yeah.
But no, nice work, Bart. That was
congrats,
dude. Phenomenal.
A good derb, and not easy to put something like that together with the guys you were fishing against. So pretty competitive.
Yeah, it's pretty. I will say, with all those new guys who are doing like that are like the live scope kings and stuff, It is nothing more intimidating than getting on a flat and looking at all them that are just staring straight down, and you're like, God damn it, they can see every one of them, and they know exactly how to catch them.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. They're just shaking their rod tip, and you're like, ah!
Stop it.
You're shaking this minnow thing. I've seen it on Bass Live, and it catches all of them, and I can't do that.
Got to play the game, brother.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll talk about some more tournament fishing later. We got another Bassmaster event coming up next week, so we'll burn through the pics of that a little bit later. But like we said before, we got an awesome guest tonight. I think we're going to bring him in now.
Is he here?
And he's here. He is backstage, baby. He's here.
Probably listened to me ramble for too long.
Yeah, I think he's already taken a nap down there. I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. We'll see. I think the check cleared, so I think we're probably good to go here.
Can I introduce him?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce him
him
before we bring him in here? Just give the folks a little taste of what they're about to experience here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we bring in top tier 10 out of 10 guests. We don't bring someone on the show unless they're top tier. And tonight we have for you a well-known Canadian fishing influencer, prominent YouTube personality, a media entrepreneur, and just
one of the best videographers in North America,
a well-versed angler and media guru who has inspired so many of us and many other people. He's a great angler and an even better human. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Siemens. Bring him in.
Bring him in.
Bring him in. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, folks.
That was impressive. That was quite the intro, Sam. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wish
What's
I could
up,
call you
bud?
my favorite Sam, but I'm married to a Sam, so
Oh,
I'll call you my second favorite Sam.
That's
is he
pretty
your
good.
favorite Sobe?
he's number 2.
Favorite
My
Sobe.
Do you like the
I'll
water
take
better?
second. I'd take silver any day with you, brother.
Thank you for that. That was good.
Where are you at?
So what
in
do
the
you
world?
know?
What do I know? We had ice on our lakes till I was ice fishing 9 days ago. Still,
Wow.
Really?
Days
You
ago,
guys
something
did
like
have
that.
ice that long?
We're driving quads on the lake still. I went a couple
Oh.
hours north of Red Lake. I'm just outside of Kenora, Ontario, but I drove 2.5 hours to Red Lake, and we were still driving quads on the ice.
Wow.
Your Red
Crazy,
Lake,
eh?
not our Red Lake.
Different Red Lake.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep.
Obviously,
You
yeah.
just threw so many Minnesotans in a loop, though, when he said
Sorry.
that. Nobody else thinks there's a different
Think
Red
much
Lake.
bigger
They're like,
fish.
"What?"
They're on their way there now.
Yeah, they actually just started driving. I heard they're letting dual axles out of JRs.
Oh my God.
So for a large portion of your career, you've been based out of Kenora, but is that where you were born?
I grew up town of Altona, which is like 10 minutes from the North Dakota border. The nearest North Dakota town would be Nitchie. But if for anyone that drives up to Lake Winnipeg at the Pembina Emerson crossing there, I'm like 20 minutes west of there is where I grew up. So I lived there till I was 25 or 26, and then met my wife Sam from Kenora and made the move to Sunset Country. But for me, it was I would do day trips. I'd come fishing here. I'd leave Altona at 3 a.m, drive 3.5 hours, go fish for the day, and be home at midnight. So now that I live here, it's surreal. Like Sam, you've spent time here. I don't know if you other guys have been to the Kenora area, but it's really paradise. If you like ice fishing, it's very much so, because we have ice for, like I said, 6 months of the year. So if you like ice fishing, I mean, it's still got that mix of you're not completely in the middle of nowhere. You can go further north and get ice for more of the winter, but then you're kind of just in no man's land, or disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like in the Northwoods, but I feel like Kenora's popping though. Like Kenora has like culture, town life. You have town deer. There's people, there's places, there's even like tourist attract, it's
No,
popping.
the town deer are definitely a novelty to people that aren't from town. People from Kenora don't care about the deer, but there are monster bucks that just live. When I lived in town, there's some funny TikToks of myself going head to head with a couple bucks, and they're just giants. So there's stories of people hunting town deer.
I
But
was gonna say, I miss your Instagram stories of just like, oh, there's a deer chilling in the bush in the front yard.
yeah,
Just like, hey, what's up?
I miss it when you lived in town and you would be like hanging out with big bucks every day, and then your next shot on Instagram story would be like you in a blind in the hard Northwoods, and you're just grinding
and
and trying to like
trying to
see
shoot
deer,
a buck.
get deer, and then you like go home and you're like, "What's up, dude?"
Oh, it's
Nice.
it's so humbling. Oh, it's humbling when you go home and there's just deer everywhere and you can't shoot one. There actually is a season in town that you can shoot them in town limits archery, but you have to have 5 acres. So I never had access to 5 acres, but for people, there is this deer that went viral in Kenora. If you search Carrot the deer on the news, Carrot the deer, somebody shot it with a crossbow bolt and it didn't actually shoot the deer, and they tried to do a headshot, I guess. And this whole hashtag started, Save Carrot, and it started trending online. And you should look up Carrot the deer. It survived, but it was just running around town with an arrow through its head, and it survived.
Wow.
Yeah, they tranked it and they pulled the arrow out, and he's living a good life now. So
I feel
look it up.
I feel like
that's awesome that they tranked it and pulled it out and were like, you deserve to go back.
Yeah.
And just let them go.
So you don't know anyone in town with 5 acres that you can be like, hey, can I hang a stand?
Well, I have an ongoing discussion with my father-in-law. I'm still working on that one.
Oh wow. He has 5 acres in town?
Well, town limits. Yeah, he's not in they're not in the sweet spot. You know, there's like right in town where the biggest ones, they're on the outskirts. So I've never seen like giant bucks out there, but I mean,
a corn pile away, right?
Yeah.
That's an awesome father-in-law.
He says it's a wildlife sanctuary, so you know it's all right.
Ooh, that's a tough one to crack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Well, have you been fishing? It sounded like you were on the water recently.
Yeah, I got the Alumacraft wet yesterday for the first time, just making sure there's no kinks, and the kayak sits in the water all the time right now. So now it's kind of just making sure everything's ready before I kind of ramp up into more filming. Like this is the 3-4 week window before it just gets crazy again. As soon as like June, July hits, I'm flying to, you know, a couple different lodges and that sort of stuff with some tourism type shoots. So right now is like the only slow time of the year, because when it gets to fall, then it's just like that race for first ice. And I don't have that same race for open water. So, I mean, I'd love open water. It just doesn't feel like it's a race to be the first one on open water. If I wanted to, I could go down to the Rainy and catch sturgeon. But right now it's just like getting organized, because once summer starts and it's just, you know, back-to-back trips and filming and staying organized, and, you know.
Is it still like a beautiful feeling though? Being in the boat the first time where you're like, oh my gosh, like I know it was a weird winter, but like it's still got to feel good to get the boat back out.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
you know, don't get me wrong, I love ice fishing, but being in the boat is just the mobility and just having all the gear at your fingertips and being able to buzz around. And now living on the water is I definitely enjoy it more than I expected. I knew I'd like living on the water, but we moved to a small piece of water outside of Kenora, and yeah, just for whatever. If I want to test a lure, I just go off to the dock, or, you know, it's not a big ordeal every time to go fish for an hour or something. So it's a lot easier with my boy. And yeah, like even night fishing isn't something that people really do up here. You guys, you Minnesotans are hardcore. You night fish all the time. People don't do it up here. It's just like, it's more work, but now it's like something I want to dabble with. If my boat's in the water already, I can play around with that, and something that just doesn't really get done up here too much.
Have you been fortunate enough to pick the first backlash of the season yet?
Oh, I picked lots of backlashes yesterday. It was bad. Yeah.
That warms my heart.
It's always the good first time. Have you
Doesn't matter how much
you had to cut one yet?
I haven't had to
That's
cut
my
one yet.
favorite, is when I can't get it out and I'm like, God, I just spooled this 2 days ago to go out fishing, and I'm about to cut all this line off because I'm an idiot.
My mindset on backlash has changed. This was like 2017. This was the year, maybe it was 2018 or something, the year after Palaniuk won Angler of the Year on Bassmaster, and I had a chance to go film him on one of his tour stops, and we got to go fun fishing for a day after the shoot wrapped, and he backlashed multiple times, and I just felt so good. I'm like,
oh yeah, that would have felt so good.
Angler of the Year backlashes, then anyone can backlash, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that brings up a great point I kind of forgot about. So you got to film with BP before Kyle was like the guy there. Because he was kind of, I mean, you're a very well-known YouTube personality now, kind of with everything you do and videography wise. But at that time when Brandon was first getting into it, like how did that whole relationship start? And like, how do you get involved with that? Because you did a couple events with him.
Yeah, it was pretty random. It was Brett McComas was doing Target Walleye. That was kind of in the earlier days of Target Walleye. And I think it was the connection through Bass Blaster maybe, but somehow Brett McComas was talking with Brandon Palaniuk, and Brandon said, hey, I need a guy to help with the shoot. And Brett gave him my contact info. I assumed it was like a one-off film, one tournament. All of a sudden BP calls me up and he's like, yeah, I need you for 60 days of filming, like the entire season. And I was like, yeah, no, there's no way I can do that. I said, maybe I can do 1 or 2 tournaments, but I'm like, I'm just not prepared to do it all, which is what Kyle does now. So I did one Bassmaster, and then the next year, or one elite event, and then the next year I had a chance to film the Classic, which was like, if I had to cherry pick one, obviously it's going to be the Classic. And that was so cool. Like I was running around places I shouldn't have been, like down on the ground floor when they had the Super 6 weighing in, and I was just vibrating, filming all that stuff. That was very cool. Very pumped I could do that once, but I have like just massive respect for Kyle, because if you want to film, it's one thing to fish the elites. To film the elites, you're up before them getting your camera gear ready. You guys that film know, and you're up after backing up footage. So you're fishing or filming a bigger schedule than the elite guys are. You know, maybe you're not filming all the pre-fish, but what Kyle does is like, that is the definition of a grind right there. Like,
well, and the other thing with that too, that like I've talked with Kyle about a couple times is, and that's where I'm like jealous of you and Sobe, kind of with going out and you film a different story or whatever you're doing every day. The one thing with the elite things and filming those videos is, yes, the tournament plays out different and the location might be different, but your day routine is like the same type of thing all the time. So eventually you're filming your 100th tournament day and you're like, guess what? We blast off and we weigh in. And you're like trying to figure out new creative ways to show that. And you're like, I'm just running out.
Well, and I am a huge, Bassmaster fan, but sometimes the locations they go to are just not good fisheries. Like just like it would be tough to. That's what I love about what we do with YouTube stuff is we pick the locations. They're sometimes forced into locations that maybe aren't ideal timing, and it's like struggling to catch a 2-pound bass. It's tough to make that exciting sometimes on film, and then it's also filming boat to boat is incredibly challenging. Like if Kyle could film in the same boat, so much easier. It's stable. You're not worrying about the boats moving at different times. But filming boat to boat is just a massive challenge. So like what Kyle does, I don't think Brandon gets the views he deserves or the recognition on his videos, because it's crazy. And also I just remember the first year when I was filming that video for him, and you'd see some of the other Bassmaster guys kind of like looking at him or maybe cracking little jokes. And now it's like so many people are filming their tournaments, and Brandon paved such a way for that. Like,
dude, and you want to like something crazy? You go to one of those takeoffs now, someone's drones are gonna hit each other.
I can't imagine.
There's like 35 of them in the air at blast off, like literally, and all you hear is this hum and just racing around everywhere, and you're like, this is something's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
It's been cool to watch Brandon and Kyle's relationship too, as their videos have grown and stuff, and the Vandy Hammer thing, and just there's such an element there. It's so cool.
He's become a character, which is what people like too, right? I think they get along great, and it's a fun thing to follow for sure.
So Jay, with like the new doing different locations and stuff all the time, I always a huge fan of your films. They're so fun to watch and they're so cool. The most recent one that I was like, oh my gosh, this is sick. Dude, your time and none of it? Is that what it's called or whatever?
Yep.
What made you spur to be like, I'm going to go to just the absolute middle of nowhere and do this? And like, what was that experience like for the ice fishing crowd? Because I saw that coming out and I was like, okay, yeah, this is something I don't think anybody had done. It was maybe up in your area, but I never.
I really can't take too much credit for that. I mean, so BRP is the mothership they own a lot of big brands. They own Alumacraft, Ski-Doo, Sea-Doo, Can-Am, all that stuff. So they're a gigantic company. And I've worked with Alumacraft for like the last 10 years, basically, between shooting and now the YouTube side of things. And I think they're just trying to push more into the ice fishing side. And now partnering with Ski-Doo, they asked if I wanted to come on the trip. And I was just like, yeah, that's an incredible trip. And what was unique is I did a lot of filming myself, but they had a whole full production crew. They flew it from BC for that. So for me, I was actually able to enjoy it. I was still able to make a YouTube video out of it. Interesting though, like if you go on the BRP socials, the Can-Am or the Ski-Doo socials, they made 5 to 10 minute pieces out of it. So it's like you just see the best of the best shots. Like they're filming with $100,000 cameras. Like this guy's wearing a backpack, and I'm like what's that gear worth in the backpack? And he's like, this one lens is 30 grand. And I'm like,
wow.
And you're just snowmobiling across the Arctic with that? And it was just everything about that trip was on a scale that I'd never been a part of before. Like I've been on a lot of shoots, but these guys were filming with like Hollywood cameras, like RE cameras, top of the line. And I was just like soaking it all in. And I got to be, I guess, more of a model in the trip. So yeah, like we were supposed to fly from Winnipeg to Rankin Inlet to Iqaluit. And then the first night our flight got delayed and canceled, and we ended up in Ottawa. I don't know how good your Canadian geography is, but basically we lost an entire day of the trip. When I made it there the second day, they're like, okay, we lost a day. You need to hop on a snowmobile, and we're going on a snowmobile ride. We don't know how long it's going to be. So if you watch the film, we got on our snowmobiles at 4:30 and didn't make it till the destination at 3:30 in the morning or something like that. Like it was the biggest snowmobile of my life by 5 times, 10 times. And it was wild under the Northern Lights. And we saw caribou and stuff as we're snowmobiling. It was out of this world. And then
just the landscape looked insane.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it was so like,
at what point of that snowmobile ride does your thumb fall asleep? Because mine does after like 30 minutes. So like, how do you keep that going for
I was
that
just
long?
jacked. I wasn't asleep at all. I'm just like, I'm buzzing, right? Because this is all so new. But yeah, you start to get achy a little bit into that drive. And something that didn't, make the shoot is one of the videographers hurt his leg like an hour into the sled ride. So we lost a videographer right away.
How did he hurt his leg?
He was traversing through some ice and stuck his leg out. And I think he ended up fracturing something. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but just like, if you ever start tipping on a sled, you don't stick any part of your body out. You just jump off the machine, right?
Yeah, you ditch.
So he didn't ditch. And so we were down a camera guy right away.
Jeez.
And that's not a good place to like have to deal with that.
No,
Yeah,
it was near town, and he was fine.
Oh, okay.
And he's recovered and everything. But yeah, like all the guides are carrying ththose Garmin InReaches, right? That can send messages and everything. But it's like something goes wrong. Between those two towns, you're, a 3-4 hour sled ride either direction sort of thing. So,
Jeez.
Wow.
Huh.
So you had to like, there was so much like drone footage in that too. I mean, when you put that drone up, you just had to be laughing. Like, I can't do anything wrong here.
No, it's endless. Everything's just on such a big scale. Like, and it's like, has anyone ever walked here before? And they talk about these Inuksuks, like those little rock structures where it's like, it looks like a little person, where those rocks are.
Yeah.
Can you picture, what a Inukshuk is? And they're like, yeah, by the moss growing on it, that Inukshuk might have been there for 100, 200 years. We don't even know, but it marks the trail. Yeah.
Wow.
That's wicked, actually.
So as soon as that trip finished, like we got to fish for cod for half an hour. We go drill holes in the middle of the lake. The guide's like, this is the spot. I'm like, we're kind of just in the middle of the lake, but I'm not going to say anything, right? And they have these little wooden, authentic, they used to be like caribou antlers, but just a little jigging stick. I brought all my frostbite gear, and I'm like, got rod tubes, and I didn't even pull it out of the tube, right? They just hand me this jigging stick, and boom, 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 boom. And as soon as we started catching them, I'm like, this fishing's too good. I know how these shoots go. We're going to have to pack up in half an hour and keep going because they're going to get all the shots they need. And sure enough, we crushed the fish as fast as you could drop down. And they're like, Kate, we got all the shots we need. We're going. And I'm like, that was my window in this 7-day trip. That was my best fishing window. And that's just, that's just how those shoots go. So we packed up, and I was just like, I may never experience that fishing again. Right. So
how much ice was there?
2 or 3 extensions on the auger, and like almost going down to the bottom. So I don't know.
That's what, like 60? Yeah.
Like we were standing on the edge of the snowmobile to start the hole.
That's incredible.
That's unreal.
And that was at the end of the season where things were starting to like get thinner already. So
end of season. When is the start of their season?
Yeah. When does it start?
July.
You're probably on the I think October they might be on the ice already. And then we were driving snowmobiles across the ice in May. I think June is when the ice goes out. So we were ice fishing like first couple days of May.
Jeez.
So did you it looked like you guys kept a bunch, right? Did you like, was it like
Oh,
really
we cooked
good?
some up. It was like the best, like the whitest, flakiest meat you've ever seen. And
Unreal.
yeah, it was spectacular. So that was cool. We did some Arctic char fishing too, caught a couple small ones, but I saw pictures of like 80 and 100-pound cod that are in this one secret landlocked lake. So I'm already like making phone calls and trying to charter a float plane on skis. And like, it's like a film project in the back of my head that I want to make happen at some point, but
That would be
That incredible.
yeah.
How big of a hole would you have to? I mean, an 80-pound cod.
You'd probably
That's not
want
coming up with everything.
want triple tens, I think.
Through 6 feet of ice.
It would be insane. It'd be so difficult.
It seems
And
like
then it's like at that point too, if you're off-grid camping, it's like, do you just bring a gas auger at that point? Because you're not going to bring enough batteries probably to do that. It's tough to say.
Yeah. Jeez.
Wow.
That's
a little more logistics than I probably would plan for ice fishing typically.
Yes.
I'm not gonna
Yep.
sugarcoat it.
That trip is crazy. I mean, you've been on a bunch of them over the years, or maybe recently. What is like your favorite one been?
Oh,
Like
man.
where I know the Amazon stuff is super sick. That's something I've always wanted to go do, is like that peacock stuff.
Yeah.
But is there one
man.
that stands out? Whether, I mean, here,
Probably-
I'll make this a bit easier for you. We'll pick a couple, but number one, what was your favorite one to film in terms of
Well-
like videography and the coolest thing to film?
Yeah,
to
this
shoot?
is when I was like still filming more for Uncut, and it wasn't like my YouTube channel. I didn't know what the future of was it my YouTube channel. But I went to Uganda and fished the Nile River for it's called Murchison Falls for Nile perch. So that was like hippos and elephants and the full deal. Like there was hippos chasing after our boat, like completely out of this world.
Unreal.
Like our guide had us fishing as close as possible to the hippos because they said the hippo crap attracted the bait fish and the bait fish attracted the Nile perch. And if you know anything about hippos, they are like one of the top killers in Africa. Like they will grab you and drown you. They're super dangerous. So our guide has us fishing as close to the hippos as possible. And my dad ends up snagging one. So we
A hippo?
Snagging a hippo?
snags like a 2,000-pound hippo. And it just starts screaming loud. And I'm just like, I don't know what we want to happen. Like, I don't know what the proper outcome is.
There's not a good outcome here.
Yeah. So he just starts like palming the spool and eventually the hook pulls. And I'm like, that was insane. And then we're moving spot to spot and the hippos come up in your wake and they start chasing you in the wake. And they're like, their heads come up and they're like all of a sudden treading water and then they disappear. And they're like, when is he going to come up next? And the guide's like, look at the dent on the side of this boat. He shows me this boat that just looks like it was T-boned by another boat. And he's like, yeah, that's from a hippo. I'm just like,
No way.
I'm not, I can't.
I'm picturing like the saltwater terminology, like when they hook a big fish and they get a leader. Like, did you get leader on that hippo?
Yeah.
we got 3 liters.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're good.
man. That was the most exotic. I actually just came back from Denmark 2 weeks ago fishing for Xander. So that's the next film that's going to come out. And Xander's always been a bucket list thing. And we got some big ones. We got some 18-pound
Jeez,
Xanders on
nice.
film. So they were like crazy fish. And this guy was the full European sharpshooting, had 16-inch live scope, GPS maps, and like it was just a different world.
What time of year were they in Denmark? Like was this pre-spawn? Was it spawn? Was it post-spawn? Was it?
We were right on the front end of pre-spawn. Like it was, I forget what dates. It was like around April 10th.
Wow.
We were there. And so the fish are they're pelagic. So they're just cruising open water. And basically how the guy has it set up is like a Xander has a strike zone. He says it's like 20 centimeters. Everything there is kilograms and centimeters. And he said a strike zone on a Xander is about that big. With a walleye, you get a jig and wrapper swim bait close to them, they're a lot of times going to turn or chase or give you something. The Xander will not even acknowledge you unless you drop it right in front of his face. So he had a pole with 2 deucers. He had an LVS 34 pointed, parallel with the boat. And then he had one of the old, like first generation Panoptics, whatever the PS30, I think it's called. And he had that perpendicular to it. So he had these 2 deucers making an X. So, sometimes when you see a fish and it's under the zero on your live scope, you think you're dropping right on his head. If you're in deeper water, you could be off by 2 or 3 feet to the side and you wouldn't know. So with these two deucers crisscrossed, he would get the lure perfectly 0-0. So instead of you thinking you're near him, but you're a foot or two off the side, now you're dropping literally right on that fish's nose, like a circle that big.
Wow.
So you're using like 5-inch basically jerk shads, and you would have to get it within, like I said, a couple inches of their nose, and then you'd get them engaging. And then it's like they're 35-inch fish on live scope, right? You see their fins start tingling and they go vertical and they just thump your bait like an 18-pound walleye would. And it's wild. But the buildup and the chasing these fish, you might drop on that same fish like 40 times. And then on the 41st drop, all of a sudden you get it perfectly in his line of sight and he locks in and engages on it. But it was
electric.
Such a different fishing. Like,
that sounds kind of intense, actually.
Did you quiz him or talk to him all about like what the spawn is like out there? Because Xander make beds, right?
I didn't ask him specifically about the beds. They were starting to slide shallow, but I didn't actually ask about the spawn specifically, but we were right on the start of it. But yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know about the beds, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think like obviously you know how walleye spawn, right?
Yeah.
But I think the weird thing with Xander's, they make beds like a largemouth would or a smallmouth.
Yeah. That'd be very interesting.
Never even knew
we got to fact check that.
Fact check it, dude.
How does Xander spawn? Yeah.
They make beds.
But like that was my first real big fishing experience in Europe. And I realized how good we have it in North America. The access we have to lakes. I mean, I know we have it even better up where I'm at compared to you guys. I know access is more of a thing, but there it's like we're on a huge lake and we're launching a boat on this tiny little beach. And he said, yeah, this is the public launch. And it's like, we're literally disconnecting the trailer, pushing it down a hill, towing it up with a strap to get it up. And he's like, yeah, there's a speed limit of however many miles an hour, like 7 miles an hour. Most lakes are private or don't have boat launches, and other lakes you have to be part of a club. There's just like, it's not friendly for fishermen there. There's lots of lakes you can fish, but not like where we're at, where it's like catering to fishermen all the time.
Is the fishing culture in general not that popular out there? Or is it, they just kind of make it difficult?
Yeah, I think they just make it difficult. There's definitely a fishing culture, but I don't think the same. Like, yeah, not like Minnesota. Minnesota is all fishing culture, right? But there, my buddy's like, yeah, I think there's only 2 people in Denmark that own Alumacrafts. And I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
What town were you in? Like, where'd you fly into?
We flew into Copenhagen.
Okay.
So yeah, it was crazy. So I'm excited to do that. And I want to go back again now and do the giant perch. That's the next thing I think. But I live for that exotic stuff. And if you guys want to dig back into the archives, there's some Sobe and Jay collabs from many years ago when we went to Thailand. And I don't know if people even know about that trip, because that's before either of us were pushing YouTube too hard, right? It was me and you and AP, and it was just a whirlwind of a trip.
That was a good trip. That was
a giant. Was that your first big international one, Jay?
Sorry?
Was that your first international one?
I don't think that was my first international, but that was just I think that was my first like YouTube focused, big trip. And I was like, these videos people are gonna like, it's gonna do amazing views, but people like the international stuff doesn't always connect. Like, it's not always relatable too, especially when we're fishing stocked ponds in Thailand. It's like not necessarily something that
one thing I thought was interesting though, and Jay was there. So like, because obviously Jay is such a big ice fisherman, and so are all of you guys. But like when we were at those huts where they had beds there, and that they almost like catered to that, that experience of just like you're hanging out, you're camping, you could potentially sleep here and fish at the same time. That was like the only thing I think I've ran into in fishing besides overnight sleep, like overnight hardside shacks or ice camping. That is that same experience.
Oh, that was a very cool experience. And I think those ponds lend themselves to it because they have these ponds with just 100-pound catfish swimming around, and they just chum them up and get them in a frenzy. But yeah, these little cabanas or whatever you want to call them, it was pretty cool. You could catch it. There's definitely video of Alex catching fish from bed and maybe from the toilet. I'm not even sure, but
Jay was in the water. Jay was in the water holding these Mekong catfish or whatever catfish they were at the time. And that was electric.
That was a wild trip. Yeah.
So we asked you about one of your most memorable trips. I want to bring it all the way back to the beginning. kind of on the film side, what was your first camera? And then what was your first camera that you fell in love with?
Ooh. So I would say like my first, I had like a Canon PowerShot or something, but I'm not really going to count that. But for my graduation present, graduating high school, I got a Canon Rebel T1i, and that one could do video and photo. And that was my first camera that I started digging into photography with. Yeah, that's just when DSLRs were becoming affordable and people were starting to do like video with DSLRs. That was, I guess, 2010, so 14 years ago. And you could start playing around with different lenses and that sort of stuff. So it was just a massive learning curve. What was the second part of that question?
Okay, to build off of that, why was that your graduation present? What interest did you show in cameras before that your parents or whoever thought that would be a good gift?
So I started guiding fishing when I was 15 or 16, so summer of grade 10. And when you're at these lodges, I was at these like remote flying lodges, and it's like northern lights, seeing all sorts of wildlife, bears and stuff, and then taking fish pictures. And I was just like, I want to take good pictures, right? Like it wasn't even a thought that I want to be a photographer. It's like, I just want to be good at taking pictures because it's a good life skill to have, right? So, first year guiding, second year guiding, all of a sudden I'm like, I really like this photography stuff. And then I told my parents, I'm like, I want to get a nicer camera. And then at the same time is when I didn't know what I was going to do after graduating high school. And that's when I enrolled in photography school, which I never ended up going to because this guy named Aaron Weeb kind of sidetracked me. But yeah, it was interesting. I never thought that cameras would be how I made a living. It's just whatever, it just consumed me. I started, like you guys, the stories you can tell with the camera. And it's just for myself too. I have the memory of a goldfish. So I love being able to capture all these things and watch them back. Every once in a while, all of a sudden I'll be flipping through a hard drive and I'll open some random clips or an old video. And it's just like, whoa, I barely remember that trip, but it just, it all kind of blurs together after a while. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Okay. So Canon Rebel.
Yeah.
Potentially your first camera. What was the first camera you fell in love with that you're like, dude, I am like it's your right hand?
That's a good question. Probably the Sony FS5, because that's the camera that's like a little bit bigger. The predecessor to it would be called the Sony FS700. I think it was called the FS700, but basically what it had was I rented this FS700 for a shoot, and it had super slow-mo. It had 240 frames per second, which if you guys aren't video geeks, typical video is 24 frames per second. So 240, you can slow it down to a tenth of the speed, right? So for me, it was just like everything slow-mo. Everything you film in slow-mo is cool. I got my buddy to chug a gallon of milk and puke in slow-mo. Dressed up like he dressed up like Santa Claus and chugged a full gallon of milk and just puked all over my parents' living room. But I had the slow-mo camera and I got it in 240 frames per second.
That's unreal.
It was everything in slow motion. And I mean, you can overdo it, but it definitely became a style for me, is mixing in that cinematic slow-mo. And that's that FS5, that camera traveled the world with me. And now I use the Sony A7S III, which does everything I need, and it's just in a smaller size. But that FS5 was just such a good camera to me, and I racked up a lot of hours on it. I don't use it anymore. I had two of them. I sold them both, but now the A7S III is pretty much all that and more in a in a mirrorless small package. So yeah.
I remember when we were in Thailand, like, this is your SF5, like, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what kind of hard drives we had back then, but like the processing was so slow. And Alex was like, get Jay's footage, get some slow-mo footage, dump that every night. And it would be like, dude, it would take so long to dump. And probably because, I don't know, our old school hard drives were so slow at the time too in our cores.
You know, the ones that are actually discs, not like SSDs that are fast. Yeah. So then you go into Final Cut to try to edit it, and you like click play, and it
my computer's just
and it's just it sounds like an aircraft carrier, and you're like, I'm just gonna kind of click down to slow-mo, and I hope this turns out good. I won't know until I export it
and then the
At the
drag
time,
starts-
nobody had 240, dude. Nobody could edit or shoot in 240. Like nobody. You knew a select few people that had cameras like that, and it was so.
No, I definitely think Sobe would probably agree with me on this. Watching Jay, like you do so much of that videography stuff. Like I always think of you and a lot of the videos you did. Like you were the guy who pushed slow-mo, in my opinion, at least in the upper Midwest, into Canada, northern part up here, into the fishing community, because like nobody was doing that.
So fly fishing is kind of like is where you, I guess, can watch if you want to really see. They kind of just pave the way on those things. Like I don't really take credit. Like it was if you ever watch fly fishing film tour type stuff.
Yeah.
Those
I watch
guys
a lot of
tell
it now.
They've got the cinematography down. I don't know, maybe fly fishermen are a little more artistic, or I'm not sure what it is, but that cinematic. I think fly fishing is more cinematic. Is kind of, it just lends itself to pretty spots and shots and fly line flipping over and stuff. But
yeah. So when back in the beginning, this is just for some reason I have this memory, but when you were guiding at one of those fly-in lodges, didn't you catch a crazy big lake trout or something? I don't know if there's a video of it, or you showed me a picture sometime when we were hanging out.
So that one I filmed, like it was like half iPhone clip, half my Canon Rebel. And Aaron Weeb ended up putting it into an uncut angling episode. So if you search 50-pound laker, it shows up. But I guided a guest onto a 47 with a 30.5-inch girth. So we didn't weigh them. We didn't bother slinging them, but we would just soft tape them for girth. So that fish calculated to, like, I don't know, 55 pounds or something. And then the next evening I was out with guests or with another guide, and I caught a 46 with a 30.5-inch girth. So another calculated to 52 pounds. I don't know if it was 40 pounds or 58 pounds, depending on what's in his belly, but I'll probably never catch a laker that big.
That's insane.
How old were you when you caught that?
I think that one was in 2018. So
was that about as big as they get there, Jay, or were there bigger ones caught? Or?
I would say there's like 48 inchers, 47, 48s that get caught every year. But it's just, that was a Walton Lake Lodge, and there's just giant lakers up there. And the crazy thing is it just ruins you. Like when the fishing's good, you're catching a 40-incher every outing basically. And it ruined me for lake trout fishing kind of everywhere else, like I've had comparable lake trout fishing, but when that's like your first northern laker experience, it sets the bar at a very high.
Is it still like that? Like it's just consistently that good?
It's really good, but a lot of people come up to the lodge and they want to pike fish, right? So like the day that my guest caught that 47-incher, we had been pike fishing all day, and I'm like, oh, we should troll a lake trout spot on the way home, and we troll for an hour and catch this mammoth laker. And it's like people don't want to troll. I think now with live scope and knowing how to sharp shoot them and jig, I think people could fish for them differently. But there's big lakers. It's just lake trout fishing is more like muskie fishing. It's like most people want action and they want to sight fish. So laker fishing, just especially if you're targeting a big one, just doesn't make sense for everybody.
Gotcha.
So out of all the stuff that you've done, like I know you hit on a couple that were like insane trips, but is there any that you've done or you filmed, because like your style with like being very cinematic and everything, that were, you filmed it, you thought like this trip was just so sick, and like the video just did not do it, just didn't it fell flat or whatever? I mean, because I feel like there's some of those trips where you like experience them and like being there was insane, but then like maybe it didn't hit with like the audience.
Yeah, like I would say some of those Thailand videos, I just thought they were cool, and I thought with these unique fish they'd resonate, but I don't know. I've kind of just realized I need to disconnect myself from the views and all that stuff. It's so easy to say, but to do it is a different thing. But
Right.
It's just so easy to associate like your value as a creator with likes and comments and engagement. But it's like, man, I realized that just always isn't the case. Like my most viewed video this winter was like Sam and I catching 12-inch brook trout on a little lake near my house, and then I could go around the world and film a week-long video and it could do a fraction of the views. So it's just like, I just want to make videos that I'm proud of, that I think I would want to watch,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's like, I grew up watching In Fisherman because I love that Doug Stange would be muskie fishing And then the next episode, he would be sucker fishing and then doing crappies and then doing walleye. And just like, I love the variety in the different places. And that's kind of just like, I'm like, what do I want to watch? I want to watch the variety. I want to do more, competitions is something I want to, breathe a little more life into. Cause when we were
those KBI videos you did a few years ago were awesome. I've watched them like several times.
Filming tournaments is so stressful. Like it's one thing to focus on a tournament, and I've never won a decent tournament. So it's just like, it's tough because it's like you want to do good. That's why it's once again like
imagine you film yourself win the KBI though.
I know.
Come on.
I know that would be cool. But
and I will say I wouldn't say this about like a lot of people, especially like creators or whatever in fishing primarily, but it's like I feel like you do so much different stuff, whether it's like tournament fishing, these international trips, all this stuff. But I feel like when I watch a Jay Siemens video, I can tell you that like it's a Jay Siemens video in the first 5 seconds, probably. Swear to God.
that's good. I think, right?
Yeah.
I do like the variety, right? I'm always like, I never want to have a set format either. So that's why I'm always trying to think what's next, right? I never want it to be like, this is the way it needs to go. So, but I think there is something to be said for a style and the music and my editor Brandon has kind of gotten in a groove, and he makes it possible to do what we do. Cause I think I would be burnt out if I was editing 100% of everything myself. That's why it's props to, do you edit all your stuff, Sobi?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
No burnout.
I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
But no, editing is taxing, no doubt. Like so taxing.
Oh, huge props to you and Clayton Schick doing all the editing and stuff. It's just like it's a balance at the end of the day too, right? It's like you got into making videos because you're creative, and it's like if you hand it off too, then you don't want to lose that creativity.
Yeah, what's your and Brandon's process? Like, are majority of them, are you just handing off to him, and do you give him a rundown of kind of like how the day went, or like how does he?
Yeah, it depends trip to trip. I'm kind of getting into a stage in my life where I'm going to be doing less self-filming. I just I like what's possible when there's somebody dedicated to filming. I can just focus on fishing a little bit more, and that's the tough part is like, I want to become a better angler, and it's so tough to divide your time. And I've been able to make it work. And there's still trips where I'm going to self-film. There's still trips where, given the logistics, it's just me and I'm going to self-film it, and that's fine. But when you can bring somebody, you can just focus on different things. So, I mean, right now with Brandon, he came and filmed that Denmark trip. So he'll edit it to 90% completion. He'll do, I think he told me that it was trimmed down to 53 minutes long, which is, that's a long video. I'm going to come in and I'll do voiceover, and I'll maybe make some notes, but I'll probably make all the final edits myself. So I'll just have the hard drive. And if it's 53 minutes, I might end up trimming it down to 40 minutes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And
how'd
then
you find Brandon?
Brand through one of the KBI videos, funny enough. Yeah. He saw one of the KBIs, the Bass Tournament in Kenora, and he saw one of my videos from the year before, and he slid into my DMs and he said, "Hey, could I have an internship?" And he filmed one video with me, and I said, "Do you want a full-time job?" And 3 years later, and he's employee of the month 3 years straight. So
yeah, Brandon.
Well done.
Yeah. No, Brandon is the absolute best. And I think what is just so amazing is Brandon will come on a trip with me, and we will be grinding. It'll be long days. He will be so dedicated to not pick up a rod. When we went to Denmark, I'm like, you got to catch a Xander. I'm like, we may never come here again. So I'm like, let me grab the camera. You're going to catch one, right? But a lot of the trips, it's like he doesn't want to catch the fish. But the funny thing is the trip will end. Let's say the shoot wraps on Friday, and Saturday morning he's gone fishing in his kayak on some back lake. And it's like he loves fishing, because I've had different people working with me over the years, and they've done great, but they just don't have a passion for fishing. And that shows as well. I want someone that's pumped about what we're doing. And Brandon's just hard worker, loves fishing, and just he knows what it takes. And so I hope he's with me for a long time, but he's done a good job of just, matching my style. Because the interesting thing about having editor too is that he might have different creative styles, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like you want to make a Sobe film. So it's like if Brandon's editing your film, even though Brandon might have different creative tastes, it's like, no, you got to match, you got to think what a Sobe video would look like, right?
Yeah,
so,
not lose kind of like your voice or your style.
Yeah.
Not lose your voice within his style.
And you still want to give Brandon creative freedom too. So there's times where he'll add jokes in and stuff. And I think it's great. I'm like, yeah, like do what you want to do. If I think your joke isn't funny, it might end on the cutting room floor. But there's some times where Brandon has added some hilarious stuff and I keep it in the videos, right? So, yeah.
So Jay, with kind of being on the YouTube creative side and the videographer side and all of it, I mean, typically on this podcast, we more of ask fun, just joking stuff. But like for the people who are serious about maybe getting into this, I think you're one of the best at giving advice to people on doing it because you've talked to a lot of people about just abandoning everything and going. What would you say for people who are like thinking about it? Like what is that path of like, okay, I want to go do this, I'm gonna do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the first thing that you need to realize is if you try to be the next Crappy Chronicles, you try to be the next Sobe, try to be the next John B, it isn't going to work. And that's the problem is like, you can't try to be, you need to be unique. You need to figure out what your thing is. Like for me, it was leaning a little more into the cinematic and like the film style. I mean, it's really tough if you try to copy what someone's done already because they've already done it, right? There's not going to be another Uncut Angling, right? There's not going to be, right? So that's the first part that you have to get into your mind. And then it's just like realizing that depends what your reasoning is for making videos. If you want to make it a career, if you just want to document your stuff, but it's being realistic that your first couple of videos are going to suck. Your first 100 videos might suck. I look at some of my old stuff and I just cringe, but it's like, that. I know it's so cliche. That's the only way you get better. And I struggle when people come to me and they're like, man, I've been making videos for 6 months or a year. And it's like, I haven't been seeing success yet. I'm like, come back and talk to me after like 2 or 3 years. Right. Like, and when people ask about my YouTube, my YouTube didn't start in 2017 when I started making videos. It started in 2008 when I started guiding, even before Uncut, because I learned boat control. I learned how to fish, all that stuff. Right. And people might just see the end product, right? But there's just so much buildup to it. And it's like, you know, maybe you get a guiding job, maybe you shadow somebody and you do editing or whatever it might be. But I think there's so many steps to it and people want instant gratification these days. And it might be like, when I started YouTube, I was still photographing weddings and filming agriculture equipment and doing all these things. It wasn't like I was just going on exotic trips right away, right? The amount of work that I did for free to gain experience, like, yeah. So
yeah, you told me so much about the value of free work, and I don't think people necessarily get that, especially now. That was like when I went and did my thing, you told me that for like a lot. It was like the value of free work is so huge. Like, what do you mean by that for people who don't necessarily know?
So like, yeah, when I say free work is you need to build a portfolio, and I think you have to, you know, make sacrifices in the short term. And for me, it was just like, I need to build a portfolio. I had, when you're young, you know, your asset that you have the most of is time, right? So it's just like, go on these trips. When I was, you know, 24, 23 and trying to build my portfolio, I was gone like 200 days a year. And a lot of the time they were free trips that I was, you know, filming for like church organizations or whatever it might be, like stuff that I was passionate about, but I wasn't getting paid, but it brought me to cool places, stuff that I could then use in my portfolio. So it's like, find what you want to do. Like, let's say you really want to get into filming YouTube. It's like, hey, hit up one of the Crappie Chronicle guys and be like, hey, I want to help film. I'm going to film for free. I'll film for you all winter. I just want to gain the experience. And that experience of seeing the inner workings, and you guys are going to teach them and all that stuff. That's invaluable, right? It's like, I was this close to going to photography school, and instead I shadowed or worked with Aaron Weeb for however many years. And it's like, I can't put a value on that experience. Yeah. You know, it's, I wasn't working for free, but I definitely, it wasn't lucrative. And I was fine with that because I was getting to travel and film fishing. And that's more experience than I would have gotten going to school, learning how to develop film, right? That just didn't make sense for me.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is now where we're going to get to the funny part of this. So when I first quit my job, you gave me the greatest like pump up, you can do this, go do your own stuff, and what's the worst that's going to happen? You'll just get a different job speech of all time. So Pinkala has been telling us that he's going to leave and quit his own job and do his own thing.
Here we go.
For the last like 2 years, and like he just keeps getting more and more serious. Yeah, maybe 3 years. I don't know. He keeps doing it. So Jay, like we really need you here.
I need to give the speech.
Let me give you.
You need to get him. Yeah. So we help out a little bit here.
Let me give you a pre-log.
Well, we're running out of time here.
Jay Siemens, I don't know how familiar you are with Ryan.
We'll wrap this up.
But
Ryan's a superstar.
He has better looks than me and Bart combined, but that's not easy to beat. So like, okay, so say he's doing good there. Phenomenal DIY hunter angler, an amazing cook, and an all-around well-versed outdoorsman that knows how to film, that knows how to edit, and that knows what it takes.
And also hates his current job.
And he hates his current job. And his current job is not in the outdoors. And he's
I hope his employer isn't watching this.
I hope he is, dude.
We've been joking about it for 2 years, so I don't think
he's miserable.
How much time are we putting on the clock, Ryan? How much time do I get?
Just go for it. We'll run as long as you need to.
You give Ryan the speech something that he'll listen to because he won't
whip him into shape, Jay.
Okay, so here's the deal, and this is like, I don't want to get too deep, but in life, all of the best things, before all the best things happen, there's just this time of it being very uncomfortable. It's like asking out the girl of your dreams. You might have 20 or 30 seconds of the most uncomfortable, sweaty palms and nerves, but you might end up with your wife, right? So you need to get past that first little bit. So you need to take that jump. And the thing is, you might be like, I don't have enough work lined up, but you are a driven person. I've seen the stuff that you do. When you make that jump, you will work harder to make the ends meet. Right now, you'll just be in that cycle and you'll keep having in the back of your head, like, what should I do? What should I do? Should I do it? The best thing is just jumping in, because that job will probably be there when you come back or something similar. But the regret of not trying, that regret will haunt you. And I've seen what you do. I can't imagine you not being successful. There is so much work out there, especially in the food outdoor space. I have full confidence that you will be very successful. That's it.
I'm going to clip that and play that every night before I go to bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Put in your 2 weeks, Ryan. Tomorrow. Put in your 2 weeks.
Put on the gas, baby.
You might have to do some photo video gigs that you're not as passionate about, like whatever that might be. Like I shot some corporate stuff that I wasn't interested in, but it paid the bills to let me do the other stuff. So either you do part-time at your current job or or whatever that might be. But life's too short. You're young. You can do this. You could go all out on the food media content train. You could do it for 5 years and you could come back to the job and it will probably still be there if you want to do it. Right. But imagine where you can be in 5 years. It is crazy. Yeah. I can't even, when I think 5 years back, I was only starting YouTube 5 years ago, like my own channel. That is wild to think about. Right. So it's just like, don't underestimate what you can do in a couple of years.
Yeah, we just hit me being my own boss 3 years ago. That's it.
That is wild.
It was not long ago when Bart and I were having these talks about what to do, and I was just like, you're going to be fine. I'm just like, keep your head down, and you'll have to make sacrifices. You'll make you might not, I don't know the lifestyle you live. You might not be driving a Bugatti right away, but
well, I'll have to sell mine.
Sell your Bugatti. Sell your Bugatti and buy that A7 III, brother.
Great.
That was incredible. Thank you for that, Jay.
That was good.
I feel like I was just yelling at you. Hopefully that came across the right way. I have so much confidence in you, and I will help however I can.
No, that was perfect, Jay. We can get back to it now, boys. I just had to slowly whittle the conversation
All right.
that way.
That was good, Adam.
That was good. That was good, Adam. I didn't think we were gonna go there.
Adam,
Well,
I thought you were just gonna talk about yourself there, and I was like, oh man. It was perfect.
No, I was like, all right, I know where I want this to get, and Ryan is screwed.
I felt it coming too. I was like, damn it.
That was a great setup.
Okay, well, we're gonna lighten the mood here with another question for Jay. Especially because in a recent Jay Siemens video, there was a phenomenal character, Manoli Milas, on there. What is your most memorable Manny moment?
Oh man, Manny is just such a character. I'm trying to think. It was like one Manny moment that sticks out is we were filming a show on the Red River in Manitoba with Aaron, and me and Aaron. It was actually like, when I think back on it, we were so mean to our co-hosts because me and Aaron have like a similar sense of humor, and we would just team up on whoever the co-host was. And Aaron and I would just be in laughing fits. And I'm like, man, we were kind of like bullying these people. It was all in good, good hearted, but I was just like, oh man. So Manny, we would get to the breaking point all the time. And at one point we pushed Manny to the breaking point, and he starts chasing me around with an ice chisel, and he trips. And the chisel goes into the ice, and he like gets the butt end in his like getting a butt end from a hockey stick, and it like knocks the air out of him. And I'm just like dying laughing on the ice, and Manny's gasping for air.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And then there was another one up in northern Manitoba, and I don't even know what happened, but there's a picture of him like riding a stuffed wolf on a balcony. I don't even know how he got up there, but that's a picture that's hiding on a hard drive somewhere. But just, yeah, he's so much fun. And I need to do a little more filming with that guy. He's a blast.
You would be happy to know that when we had Weeb on and we asked him that question, he said that the amount of times Manny would end up chasing you two around, and you two were actually like fearing for your lives.
Yeah.
Was his number one.
That was almost kind of
like the
Aaron's
same
same
answer.
response. Yeah. He was kind of like, there was that threshold between like, we were really poking a lot of fun of him, and then things got super serious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We pushed the boundary for sure.
That's unreal.
All right. I got one, unless you had a follow up to that.
No.
Okay. So, because you share like,
I think you should quit the job. Sorry, is that the answer?
Oh yeah, that covers it. So
Type the email now.
Can we do this live? Hey, could you call your employer right now?
should I punch it up and I will leave a voicemail?
Hey, this is Jay. Ryan's done.
He's
okay,
done.
sorry. Go back to your question.
All right. So you like through all your videos and you share like quite a bit of like your personal life and stuff too. So I have to ask this question because I always ask people about their food and everything. So does you or Sam do all the cooking? Who is the chef of the relationship?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, Sam does the majority of it by far. Yeah. Today I did cook. Today I made pike poutine, probably the most Canadian thing possible.
No kidding.
You haven't made poutine on the Chronicles yet, Pink.
There you go.
No, but we did film it at your house that one time.
Duck poutine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Sam does most of the cooking.
So what is her best dish?
Oh,
Yeah, and maybe a better question is, she may do most of the cooking, but who's the better cook?
she's probably still the better. Like I'm just like like I can deep fry fish and potatoes, and like that's about it. Yeah, like that's it. Like same thing with Josh McFadden. He's always cooking the fancy stuff for me, and I'm just like dumbfounded. I'm like, how do you do that? But no, Sam makes a pretty mean stir fry. I like stir fry. Yeah.
Nice.
But I love the creative stuff that, like it's always a treat. Ryan hasn't cooked for me yet. I'm hoping he will once he quits his job. But when Josh McFadden cooks for me, it's always a treat. It's stuff that I wouldn't normally eat. And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a cow tongue sandwich today." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know about that." And then it turns out being really good. So
well, when I'm living in your basement, Jay, I'll cook for you all the time.
there you go. Live-in chef. That's perfect.
So after Ryan quits his job and he comes and hangs out with you and you cook him pike poutine, explain to me, did you just deep fry some pike and you drizzled some gravy on top with some fries?
I chunked it up into little nuggets and then I deep fried shore lunch style French fries and deep fried the fries, deep fried the fish, had some big old, Wisconsin cheese curds and then dribbled gravy over everything. And It's pretty delicious. Yeah. I mean, I haven't really eaten since lunch. I ate that 9 hours ago and I'm still full. So
nice.
That one sticks with you. That sounds good.
Sounds tasty.
All right. So I do want to ask though, because I have seen this in some of your videos. I know you've talked about it like that you've done it kind of your whole life, but like tell us a little bit about the like bait making and the whole like, I don't know. It sounds like you used to do it a lot. You kind of got back into it. You do some stuff with Do It molds.
Yep.
But like, I know I've seen some things hanging in your garage and some videos that look very homemade.
Yeah.
So that's just something I love, like seeing other people's creations and stuff, and being like a really hardcore angler, you always come up with, things. So
yeah.
what's the story there?
It's interesting. Some people I fish with and they will change lures nonstop. And I think it's people that maybe fish for more pressured fish. Our fish are pretty dumb up here in Canada. So normally if you get the bait near them, there's a pretty good chance of catching them. So it's just like, you look at my tackle box. I mean, I have more lures than I should, but like swim baits, it's like if I have a silver whitish minnow pattern swim bait, I'll throw that all day and be very content. Or it's like if I have a watermelon Ned rig, I'm good all day. So with getting into lure making, it's like, I get a couple swim bait molds, a couple Ned molds. I can go whip up a batch and I can be set for the entire season, right? It's like make one color and just wrap it. And I got a full, like let's say 100 Neds, and that's probably going to last me for most of the season. But it's just like, I do feel like it's one of the things I do as a hobby outside of filming. Like I'm always filming when I'm fishing, but sometimes I like to just make lures to make lures, which I'm kind of a workaholic. So there's not that many things I do just for the sake of doing. And obviously there's an end goal of going fishing with it. But sometimes I just, go putter in the garage and make some jigs and make some plastics and, load up on my favorite color. And then I'm set for the season. So we're at that time of year right now where I should be making some baits, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun. Like a guy that watches my videos gave me like 300 pounds of lead a couple of years ago.
Wow.
So that'll make a few 8-ounce heads.
Yeah. Like I've got lead for life and probably lead poisoning for life too, but it's just fun. Yeah. Like I remember, well, if we want to go right back to the start, my first lure making experience, I used to go online and just search fishing photo contest. This is when I was like 13 years old. And I would just send my fishing pictures into any fishing photo contest there was.
Really?
I didn't even know what they were, but I was just like, I'd always love to get free brochures and magazines and enter these contests. And all of a sudden I get a magazine back from Do It Molds and I look at it and my picture's on the back cover and they won their photo contest. So I got a $200 gift card for Do It Mold. So that's how I got my first mold, my first melting pot. I got some lead and I went into my parents' basement, into the back workshop, the most closed off space in the entire house. And I plug in the melter and I start melting lead and I get just a headache and lightheaded. And I'm just like, I'm doing something wrong. And then you start talking to people and they're like, yeah, you need huge ventilation for that stuff. So anyways, I learned my lesson very quickly there and started making lures outside, and they were called Jay's Jigs. And I sold them to the corner store and stuff. And so that's where it started. And then there's a couple of years I didn't make baits, and now I'm back into it. But it's fun and it's so inexpensive, especially with melting down your old soft plastics. At the end of it,
yeah,
I'm sure you know this, Bart, or at the end of a derby, you got just cup holders of plastics.
Yes,
and they're typically a similar color and a similar bait. You just melt them all down and make a new batch. Like, my buddy Darcy Cox gave me all his old musky baits, his tubes and bulldogs and stuff. That's so much plastic that just gets thrown away, and then you melt it down. And
that is so much plastic. Oh my gosh. Imagine Darcy Cox after a full fall. He gives you all this rubber.
Yeah. Pounds.
That is crazy.
So, I mean, you buy a mold, like you can use a microwave. If you don't want to do the lead thing, even just doing the soft plastic thing, it's like $50 for the mold, $40 for an injector, and then a microwave. So it's like, you pay for that right away. So if you're making swim baits, you pay for that mold in like one evening. Right. So.
Yeah, that's sweet. No, because I feel like going out there and like catching, like even if it's just like soft plastics and jigs, like you made it yourself. It's kind of like a cool.
That's the cool part of it too. Yeah, it's rewarding.
So besides making jigs, hanging out with your family, what else is something you do that is just kind of stress relieving, or something outside of the hunting, fishing game that you just do for you, or you do to just keep your peace of mind?
Go to church.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I'm a workaholic, so it maybe too much, but I love what I do. So it doesn't feel like work, right? Like even when I'm going and, for me, I think it's fishing. When I fish without cameras or I'm scouting something, that's just like, I'm so focused on that objective and I'm not worrying about, is my audio rolling and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm living my dream, right? It's like, it doesn't, parts of it feel like work, but it's just, I pinch myself all the time, right? Because this is what 13-year-old Jay couldn't believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is making fishing videos. So it's like, I also don't want to let my foot off the pedal either. But now with a young family, that definitely changes things. My boy is so much fun. He's almost 2 years now. And it's just like, I want to bring him in the boat and get him into it, but not burn him out at the same time. Sure. So that's like the next chapter. But
has he started to take to it a little bit, Jay? I mean, does he like, I assume you're fishing for like panfish and that kind of thing, but like, is he kind of like, I don't know. I mean, that's so young, but that's about when I started fishing with my dad. So I'm trying to think back.
Yeah. There's a couple Instagram clips where the pike are coming out of the hole and they're like big pike and they start splashing water in his face. So I think he's a bit traumatized from that, actually. But like one of his, he only says a couple words, but fishy is one of his words. So that's pretty cool. And we went and set a minnow trap today, and we went in the kayak the other day, and he's in a stage now where he's throwing stuff in the water.
Yeah.
So it's like he threw my trolling motor remote in the water last summer. And my wife Sam's like, well, luckily your remote floats, but it's just like, I'm nervous. And now it's like, we got a baby, toddler. We just got a puppy a couple months ago. So now it's like, my boat is going to be one rod, whatever it is going to be like a single hook, like a flip and jig. It's going to be barbless. And there's going to be nothing on the deck of my boat, because between the two of them, something's going to happen.
Sure.
Something is
He's a thrower.
He's a thrower. And it's also too, like him falling in the water. Obviously he's going to wear a life jacket, but it's like, how much do you try to stop him from falling in the water? Because he's just going to have to learn. He's going to tumble out of the side of the boat. And it's like, I just need to keep a tether on him and let him fall in a couple times, and just, just so he's an appreciation of it,
Exactly.
I like where this is going.
I don't feel like that's something that I would like necessarily put on Instagram, as me like just letting my kid fall in the water, but it's just like
Hannon's on the edge. Do it.
Yeah.
Bet you won't.
Those videos of like the baby swim lessons where they just chuck them in the pool and the kids just end up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy though.
Thing, like for sure. But yeah.
The clips
next day YouTube video.
Yeah.
Hannon learns to swim.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Hannon learns to swim. I push Hannon off boat.
That would be.
You want to get those views up,
Come on,
Jay.
yeah.
There you go.
Live scope glasses. I threw my baby overboard. What's gonna eclipse?
I threw my baby overboard. That's
a great thumbnail.
You could like see what he looks like in the water on live scope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Hoping
that
my
looks
tear
just like
all
Xander.
Oh man. Yeah, there's some good thumbnails and titles in that for sure.
Oh man, that's incredible.
Did you that underwater drone video you did you just buy that drone to film that video, or did you use it for anything else?
It's still in the case. I used it that one time, and it has not been out of the case since. It got a bunch of moisture inside of the lens, and that one, the company sent me the drone, and I'm like, sweet, yeah, I'll use it in a video. And then I tried to get it repaired, and they stopped responding to my messages. And so I would not recommend, like, it was really cool, but I wouldn't recommend buying one of those drones. Like, it was,
Got a good amount of views out of it though.
It was crazy. You never know, right? It's you never know what people are going to click on, but that one was like kind of sensational. We talked about videos that surprise us for views or don't surprise us. Like when I did the live scope glasses the other couple of weeks ago, I'm like, this one might do it. And it did good, but not gangbusters. You never know, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Well,
okay.
Go ahead, Sam.
You go ahead.
No,
you go ahead.
Okay. I want to know. So in the back of Ryan's mind, he knows he needs to quit this job. I know I need to do this. I want to do this before I die. What's in the back of your mind that you go, I want to do this. I need to do this before I die. It could be a trip. It could be anything. It could be big. It could be small. It doesn't have to be that life-changing.
Man.
Got him.
That's a good question. Like I could say, you know, catch a giant trevally, but that seems like, I don't know. That seems like a basic answer. I just want to keep, that's a good one.
And it doesn't have to be even a business goal. Maybe it's like, I want to win the KBI once. I'd like to win a major tournament, but I don't think I'm good enough at fishing to win a major tournament. I don't know. But maybe that's not what's in the back of your brain. Like, I need to do that before I die. Maybe, you know.
Hey, some guys get lucky once.
No, what is it? You think about it. I'll go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
We'll circle back.
Take a break.
We'll circle back. So what, Jay, I'm sure, I know you keep some things kind of like under wraps, but do you have any good trips coming up that you're especially excited about that you can share?
Yeah, I'm not too secretive. Like we got a competition that we filmed one season this winter. We're going to film one season this summer. And it's going to be kind of a 39-hour sort of vibe, except everyone's in the same location. Sweet. So I've teased that. I've told people about it. It's not a secret. I'm not like really leaking any details beyond that, but basically the ice fishing one, everyone came to the same location, and we're doing one that's a fly-in. Everyone's getting flown into the same location. No one's been to the lake before.
That'll be sick.
So I don't know. I just like, I guess maybe this is going to answer Sobe's question, but as far as projects go, it's just like, I want to figure out how to bring fishing more mainstream. Like, I think 39 hours, not that it went full mainstream, but like I had friends that I did not know. I'm answering your question, Sobe, about in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I think 39 hours hit a group of people that didn't normally watch fishing videos, but friends from high school were like, man, 39 hours is great. I'm like, I didn't even know you fished. And they're just like into every episode because of the characters and all that stuff. I liked how that kind of bridged the gap a little more. So I just want to figure out how to keep doing that, how to bring, you know, there's this circle of hardcore anglers that eat, sleep, breathe fishing, but how do you bring new people in and people that you wouldn't expect it? Because we probably, all of us in this chat right now, we have a family member or a friend that brought us in, but what about those people that don't have that figure in their life? Because that figure could be us potentially, right? So it's just like, how can we be that figure to other people and bring more people into this awesome community? Because I think about all the friends and, you know, close friends that I've made through fishing that I wouldn't have met otherwise, right? So
yeah, no, that's a really good one.
So, and then I guess kind of a follow up to that, just because with like the mainstream thing and just like getting more eyeballs on it, essentially, I feel like what kind of that is. But so, I mean, you do like a lot of stuff for yourself and your own, you know, channels and everything, but how is that project like? Because I mean, you've taken on like a pretty substantial project with Meat Eater. That is awesome. I mean, I've been following that, and like just that organization as a whole just has like, I feel like their reach is like insane.
Yeah.
Like the different audiences that like organization touches, I feel like are kind of like what you're describing, right? Or how do you get people that maybe aren't necessarily interested in to that sort of thing? Like, has that kind of been the case with that project?
With Meat Eater?
Yeah, that like you're kind of getting like this different angle on things.
Yeah, like that. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because I'm pretty like laser focused on, you know, my personal YouTube channel. But that one was like everyone's there to see Steve and Ranella. They've built out a crew, but like people are there to see Steve. Steve's the man, right? So for me, it felt like it was a chance for me to be like an opening musician for Steve, right? Which is interesting, because you get people that are pumped and then they start following you because of it. And you get people that are like, I just came here for Steve. Who's this guy? Why is he fishing? What is he doing? So that's like, it gets polarizing opinions. But it definitely, like you said, that's a more mainstream audience. If people don't know hunting, they know Meat Eater, right? So that was good. This winter, I didn't film typically what I've been doing is filming a season and then releasing the next year. This winter, just with schedule, the bad ice year, and just my son getting sick, I said I can't film a season this winter. So there won't be a season coming next winter. I haven't really said that publicly, but just something that I wanted to put pause on for a second. And I still chat with the Meat Eater people, and I'll probably do more stuff in the future. It's just not something that's planned at this moment, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, overall, cool project though.
It was
no doubt.
Like, yeah, when they reached out, it was kind of like, is this real? Because Sam and I watch Meat Eater all the time, and they're huge, right? They're just a media juggernaut. They're massive. And it was very humbling to be a part of that. And yeah, like you said, different eyeballs on it, brought new people into the fold. And yeah, I'd like to do more stuff with them. So no, they're always open to new projects and stuff. So I just need to brainstorm, what that next thing might be. But
yeah. And I know we've been eating up a lot of your night here, but if you got time to stick around for a little game, would you be down to do that?
I'm ready.
All right.
The weigh-in.
So
the weigh-in with Jay Siemens. I love it.
5
We are.
people. We're gonna be burning the bottom of the barrel here. Here we
So
go.
I don't know how
You're
much
gonna get thin
details
towards the
you
end.
got about this, but
There's not a lot on
Basically-
the board.
yeah. So I don't know, like, Bart, did you explain this at all to him? beforehand?
Somewhat.
Okay. So basically the way this works is we go around in a snake draft order. So we'll just kind of go around. Everyone gets to make selections based on one topic, and you just build out your best team of 4 things,
Okay.
depending on the category. So tonight the category is the best condiments. The best condiments. So Bart, do you just want to pick an order here? Maybe we'll have Jay go first. He is the guest.
Condiment being gravy to your.
So wait,
Yeah.
you can actually pick.
ketchup to
Do
your.
you
hot
want to
dog.
go the 2
Have
best
them pick, yeah.
positions to be are either first or last, because you either get to make your first pick before everybody, or you get to pick 2 back to back in the first round.
Because you get the
'Cause it'll
wrap
go
round, the snake.
wrapped
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So you can select to go first or last.
I'll go last.
Okay, nice. Taking the wrap round.
That's
All right. Do you want to just do it based on our fantasy rank right now? Who goes where?
We can.
Let's
I
do
gotta
that.
look at that.
Also, Jay, you
boy.
should get in our fantasy fishing.
You
league
really
next
should.
year. Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing is
So-
so easy. It takes like 30 seconds to do before each tournament. You just pick. I want these guys. in My
Says
group.
the guy that forgot to fill up his lineup. multiple
I've
times.
forgotten before.
This year it's gotten more serious, so that's good. But
competitive.
so we got Honor leading,
He's not.
Pink Kala in
great.
second.
Then I'll take Cody's spot.
No.
I don't. Then
No.
that's not fair. I'm not
You
even
backed
in
out
the
when you were in Patagonia.
I don't. I'm disconnected. I can't.
All I heard was I get to go next.
blah
right?
blah
So-
blah.
I
I
just
hate
saw a
Rick Fun. That's
social
all I
clip
heard
of
out
how
of you.
much better you felt than everyone else wearing Patagonia apparel now. And I was like, okay.
No, it was. Do you feel better? Or do you feel like you are better than people wearing Patagonia?
And the answer was yes. So
Yeah, with
there was
very
no
little
hesitation.
hesitation. I said
all right,
yes.
all right. So I'll take the 101 then.
Okay. Yeah. Honor, Pink, and then me and Sobe are tied.
Well, you guys can sort that out then.
So what's the, Adam?
I
You
don't
just
care.
picked the order then, Adam. So I guess it's Ryan first.
Yeah. And then we'll go. Sobe, do you want second or third?
I'll go second.
Okay. Then I'll go third. Bill, you're fourth.
Got it.
The worst pick.
Yeah,
Great.
that's terrible for you, but what are you gonna do? All right, so
Stupid.
we're going best condiments. We'll keep track. I'll write them down here so we'll have everybody. But all right, so 1 of 1. I'm gonna take. I feel like this one's gonna hit home with some listeners, especially in the Midwest. I'm taking Runny Ranch.
Son of a bitch.
So just,
Runny
just
ranch.
basically ranch then, because no one
Yeah.
can take
No.
ranch.
No, I think in this one you have to be specific.
No,
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's fine.
then
I'm
someone's
taking-
gonna take thick ranch and someone's gonna take medium ranch. I just don't know. how
Not
we
my
can-
problem. I have Runny Ranch. So
Okay.
all right,
There are people who don't like Runny Ranch, so
yeah. Well, they're not voting.
Yes.
I agree. Runny Ranch is fantastic.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
All right.
So-
I think you're up.
Sobe, you're two.
We just pick one.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, this is-
dude, how many times have you done this? You ask the same
Right.
question every
100
time.
times.
It's never.
I'm gonna get
changed.
real specific,
Yep.
just so no one takes it, and it's kind of a flex move. I'm gonna go with top the tater.
Oh, that's a good one.
good. That is very, very good.
Jay, I don't know if
Wait, what is this? That's a condiment?
I don't know if they have it in Canada.
Yeah,
It's a
I agree,
phenomenal
Jay. That's
dip
a dip.
for veggies or anything like that. It can be a condiment to go with veggies, chips, anything. It's a
The
top-
way
it on
he
a
uses it,
potato.
it's a condiment.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
We'll allow it.
good. It's good.
All right.
Bart, what do you got?
I'm going to take it just because I feel like you use it all the time. Ketchup.
Oh, way to be typical.
It's typical, but it's such a good one. It's a
good
gold
cho-
standard.
It's a good chalk pick, Bart.
Name
for sure.
the brand. What brand do you?
Yeah, that is important here. Key feature.
So then, can we pick different brands of ketchup? What are the rules here?
Sure. It's
No,
gotta be.
we can't go that specific, but I'd go Heinz.
All right. Put it down.
I heard you typing, Adam. Didn't you?
He had
I
to
was double
Google it.
checking to make sure I
Well, like,
didn't take
he's like,
Hunt's.
oh, dude,
Leoton
Hunt's-
Hines is the
Hunt's
creator.
ketchup.
I was
Like,
making
no,
sure I wasn't taking Hunt's
Yeah.
because that one's kind of
See,
garbage.
it matters. The brand matters.
Okay.
All right. Stolsky, where you at?
I'm not gonna pick it, but so I could pick like
have-
medium consistency ranch. Like, do you see where like I'm just?
Yeah,
I feel like ranch
apparently
is off
you
the
can.
board.
Nobody's ever ordered that.
But like nobody sits down at the restaurant and says, "I want runny ranch." Like
You
if
just
they
get
have-
your ranch and
That's
it's runny, and you're like, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
It's runny ranch.
So, but we agree, ranch is off the board. I think it's a great number one pick. But it's
Well, I'm
off-
taking it either way.
Yeah, I think
Dude,
ranch
I'm
would be off
asking
the
if,
board
like,
then.
it has
Yes,
to be
Bill.
off the
Okay,
board.
Yes.
what about like a buffalo ranch or chipotle ranch?
Nope, that's on the board.
That's
See,
something
yeah.
unique. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, Jay. I'm gonna pick barbecue sauce just because it's so
Yeah.
chalk first round pick. But
I like that.
You're doing that for the fans. You don't even love
He's
BBQ.
pandering.
actually, I'm not gonna pick a specific. I'll just do just barbecue. Barbecue.
All right, Jay. So you go back to back here.
Back to back.
Yep.
Man, I found this stuff in the local Safeway. It's by Frank's. It's called Thick Sauce. Red's Thick Sauce. Have you guys
Ooh.
found that in the States?
No.
Not
So
Thick
it's
not.
Thick
This
Sauce
is
Buffalo
interesting.
Ranch.
Thick
That's-
sauce.
They've got a couple different consistencies, but you know how you said runny ranch? They've got thick, just normal Frank's hot sauce. And then they've got like Parmesan garlic, but they've got this this buffalo ranch. It is spectacular.
Mm.
That sounds
That
good.
sounds
I like a
insane.
buffalo.
If you can,
ranch.
when I find it, I buy bottles of it. Like
And it's called Red's
Thick
thick sauce.
Frank's thick
Frank's.
sauce.
Thick
Yeah.
sauce. All right.
thick sauce.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm following it up with a local one that you guys have never heard of, but it's a hot sauce, and it's pineapple habanero.
Oh,
Ooh.
Heartbeat hot sauce made in Ontario, Thunder Bay. It's been on. I think it's been on Hot Ones before, but it's like I put that on all
What's
sorts.
the
of
what's the
That's-
brand, Jay? What is the shout out to the
Heartbeat
brand?
hot sauce?
Harpy?
Heartbeat hot sauce.
Heartbeat.
Got it. Heartbeat.
Yeah, they're good. They're really
I
good.
think
like the
that's
big-
like Logs has that pineapple habanero.
They do. It's
That's
it's probably
incredible.
similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, Carl's
Heartbeat.
gonna order this stuff. I can tell he's taking notes.
Yeah,
he's-
I'm writing it down.
yeah.
So
That sounds good.
His
I'm
card
gonna
is
have to
filled
get
up.
it imported though.
Yeah.
Or just come up to Canada. Yeah,
Or that.
since he'll be living in my basement shortly.
Yeah, it should be. I'll just get it a case of it probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you probably already have it, so we're good.
I've got a couple. Yeah,
All right, Bill.
Back to you.
I'm gonna go with Chick-fil-A sauce. I think it's really
Ooh,
really
That
good.
is a great pick.
I like
that was
Chick-
solid.
and it's nice now because even here I can buy it in the bottle in the grocery stores. I don't have a Chick-fil-A locally here in Montana, but I can get the bottle of it, and I think it's a versatile sauce. I like it. So
God, that's a good pick.
All right, I'm gonna take this one because I know Pink will take it if I let it get back to him.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with Boom Boom sauce.
oh,
Ooh.
boom boom
Okay.
sauce is good.
who makes
Especially if Sam is into making stir fries, does she hit some boom boom on that sometime?
what is Boom Boom again? It's a
Are
couple.
you talking
weeks
boom
together,
boom or are you talking bang bang sauce?
isn't it?
I think he's talking bang bang sauce.
is that something you buy in the store?
What is it called? Boom boom?
I
It's
thought
called bang bang.
It's bang bang sauce. Yeah.
Okay, bang bang, whatever.
What is that?
It's like spicy.
It's
Orange,
mayo,
yeah,
sriracha,
yeah.
and sweet chili sauce mixed
There you
together.
go.
That was
I'm Googling all
yeah,
this
bang,
stuff. I don't
bang.
know about
You're
it.
Oh,
correct,
dude,
Pink,
it's just
sorry.
it's the best. It's
Bang bang
It's, good-
sauce.
it's,
Okay.
it's good on like everything, pretty much.
I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right. I saved you there, by the way.
I appreciate that.
All right. bang me. All right, Sobe, back to you.
I'm gonna go with a whole grain yellow mustard.
Ooh, there you go.
I like mustard. I'm gonna lose some votes here because some folks don't like mustard, but a good mustard, it's good action with some brown.
I like mustard on like a ballpark dog. I don't think there's much better than that.
Big whole grain mustard guy though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, coming back to me here. I'm taking sriracha.
Nice. Good pick.
I feel like that one always is good. All right. And then I think I'm gonna go with Hellman's mayo.
God damn it.
I just feel
That's a
like
good one.
I mean, come on, you know.
It's a good pick.
And I feel like that had to be specific there.
It did.
With mayo, I think you're right. I think that's
I mean, there's some divided camps in that world, so
there definitely is.
Yeah. Sobe, back to you.
I'm gonna go Hidden Valley Ranch Light because I'm an athlete.
Is that you get the one with the squirt top so you can just drink it?
And Hidden Valley,
Hidden Valley is important in
Valley.
that.
That's a
Hidden
good one.
Valley Ranch Light, LIT.
Got it.
All right. I'm going to go with, this is kind of more of a chalk pick again, but I'm going to go with medium buffalo sauce. It's a good buffalo sauce,
Classic.
man.
Just a good buffalo. Yeah, that's a good one.
buffalo sauce.
Little meat
Got the
buff.
flavor, got a little bit of heat, but it's not like hot where you're like, okay,
Sure.
I'm just sweating.
I like it. It's a good pick.
All right, Stolsky.
I'm gonna go with just a good honey mustard.
Oh, there you go.
You know, a nice honey mustard. My favorite would be I think actually Sweet Baby Ray's makes a honey mustard that is really fantastic. But just the honey mustard. Just the honey mustard.
Yeah, there you
Incredible.
But really good. I remember one year in college we just like put it on everything. It was delicious. But honey mustard.
Love it.
Say Sweet Baby Ray's honey mustard. That'll
Sure, that's the best one in my opinion, but I'm
The
not
font's gonna have to be so small, dude.
yeah, you're right. Just put honey mustard.
go.
SBR honey mustard.
You got back to back.
Yeah,
Back
this
to
is
back.
rounds out your team
I
here.
had to Google if this one was considered a condiment, and it depends how you use it. But cream cheese.
cream
yeah.
When
cheese.
it's on a burger, then it's a condiment, right? Kind of.
I can see
Yeah.
it. I mean,
guess
we
you-
allowed
yeah.
top of the tater, so
Yeah, we allowed top potato.
Yeah.
So
It has
cream
a
cheese.
spreadable consistency, so I think that
Yeah,
sort of
if it's
makes
spreadable.
I think, yeah,
I'm
I
with
say
you,
we
Will.
go.
Yeah,
cream
I don't
cheese.
think you could do a block.
Maybe
of,
jalapeno cream cheese sort of deal. Yeah.
Ooh, how you sticking with that?
I would just
Yeah,
do
I'll do
cream
jalapeno
cheese.
cream cheese.
All right.
And then for back to back, I mean, just gravy. You pour it on everything. You know, can't go wrong with gravy for
that's
poutine. I mean,
such a Canadian
What
pick, and
what
I
kind
love
of a
it.
gravy? Are you talking a brown gravy or are you talking a
Brown.
white gravy?
like nice thick
Brown
brown
gravy.
gravy. Yeah, we don't really have white gravy up here. Not like biscuits and gravy, like in the deep south. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Good pick.
Brown gravy.
Brown gravy.
Like it.
No doubt. It's really good.
All right, back to you, Will.
I'm gonna go with. I think there's a few pretty chalk picks left, but I'm gonna pick kind of a niche one here that I really enjoy, and it's the Buffalo Wild Wings Asian Zing sauce. You can
That was on my list. So
you
good.
can actually buy it in a select stores. I haven't seen it recently, but that mixed with some mayo, that's not my pick, but just the Asian Zing. Man, what a tremendous sauce.
You can
I
order
agree,
it on
dude.
Amazon, FYI, Bill, because I do.
Ooh, that's
You could have it shipped up to the
I feel
barn,
like
dude.
Starbucks to white women is that Asian zing to Bart and those like.
Dude, Pink taught me how to make those wings that one day, and it has changed my
good.
life. I
That's the
never go
only
out
thing I've
for
ever
wings,
seen you cook ever.
and I
is
make
those
them
wings.
all the time.
That's
And I
all
have
he
an
eats, Ryan.
assortment
Me and
of
Sam-
different
you can't
Me and
lose.
Sam had
sauces.
like a group text when you posted that, and I was like, I've never seen Bart even make a sandwich or anything, but he made those.
I
wings.
make them all the time, dude.
That's all he eats.
wings.
You can't
Like
lose the
literally
Asian
when I
zing.
get home from a trip, probably my first meal I make at home is a bunch of wings there because I know I got leftovers that I can dabble into a couple different times.
I'll
throughout
say
the
this
next
though. I
few
mean,
days.
if you take down a dozen Asian Zing wings, it's gonna wreak havoc a little bit.
Yeah, it
You're
does.
feeling it.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay
winning
for it.
but losing at the same time.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's
I will. I'm
conundrum.
gonna go to one here. It's a little more niche, like Bill said. But this one I ran into when I was down south actually recently, and I was like, man, this is good. And we don't have this up north. But it's Alabama white barbecue sauce.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know. If
That
I've ever had
shit
that.
is
Alabama white sauce,
awesome.
dude?
Yeah, Alabama white sauce.
never heard
It
of
is
that.
still Pink. Can you help me explain? Like, I just know it's super good, but like the best way to explain it, I
So
don't
it's
know
like-
what it is.
It's like a very thinned out, like mayo based barbecue sauce. It's like horseradish, lemon, mayo.
Mm.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's
I like that,
it's
yeah.
freaking good, dude. It's got a lot of pepper in it too. But
yeah,
like,
I've never seen it up here.
Sure.
and
and yeah.
they'll take like a smoked chicken and just dunk the whole thing in it. It's
Yeah,
just,
Yeah.
it's
That
so
sounds
good.
delightful.
yeah. All right,
Nobody's
Alabama
nobody's
white.
listed horseradish or relish, like the two worst condiments. So I appreciate that.
He's throwing
He's-
out some like
Sobe's
cheap
just thinking
picks.
to himself right now.
he's
like,
crossing them off. He's like, yeah, I'm
I'm ready.
I hate that.
Knew it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But his favorite is gravy. Of course, he doesn't like horseradish. Are you kidding me?
One time I ate just a huge helping of horseradish. I thought it was mashed potatoes. And I
yeah.
wasn't
Oh
thinking-
no.
I was on an
dude.
editing kick and I just took a big mouthful of horseradish and just it was
Did you
bad.
just black out?
Well, it's either like I'm gonna spit this all over my computer or I just have to digest it. And I took it down, but it was gross. It was pretty
Clean your
bad.
sinuses,
Oh
I
my
bet.
God.
Yeah, it probably
Get my
did.
nose out.
That'll clear
Yep.
a guy out.
All right, Sam, what do you got?
Is this my last one? Or we,
This is it,
yeah,
dude.
this is
Home
it.
run.
There's a lot more left than I thought
Salsa,
there would
sour
be, to
cream?
be honest.
Come on.
He's stewing on it.
I'll do the other one as an honorable mention. I like Tabasco. I'm a Tabasco
Really?
guy.
You do?
I really do. It's OG. It's old school. It
I
kind of has
think of
that
all the
vinegary,
hot-
pickly taste.
Yeah,
I know, but it's not. I don't consider Tabasco as like a hot sauce. It
you're
kinda
right.
has its own flavor.
It's more kind
Because
of
it's
like
violently vinegary. That's why.
Yeah, I
It
think I
is.
like vinegar. I like that.
What's that? The other one I think of that's in that same bottle.
Well, hey,
It's
we're
got
not
all
going to
the
spoil. We're not
Mexican
spoiling
places.
picks, Adam. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yep,
on.
sorry.
Pump the brakes for honorable mentions here.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
have some integrity
So
in the draft.
I'm
Thank-
rounding this out. I'm taking wasabi.
Oh,
That's a good pick.
Ooh.
I figured you would take that.
Good pick,
eventually.
Ryan. That's a good pick.
I don't love it, but I knew you do.
People do. I just didn't think it would hang on till the end, so I'm glad I got it. But
All right, you want to read through them and then we'll go through our honorable mentions because
Yep.
there is so many more.
Here's a
that
bunch.
didn't
are.
get
There's some
picked.
good ones.
I am
but it's
shocked.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
at all.
strap in. All right. So my team: Runny Ranch, Sriracha, Hellman's Mayo, and Wasabi.
It's a good team.
Good
Sobe
shot.
with top of the tater, whole grain mustard, Hidden Valley Ranch Light, and Tabasco.
There we go.
Bart with Heinz ketchup, Bang Bang sauce, medium buffalo sauce, and Alabama white sauce.
It's a
I
good
feel like
list.
that's kind of strong, especially if people
Sauce
know-
heavy.
Yeah.
I like my sauces. I just said I make wings all the time now.
I know it's all you
You've
eat.
done it like 5 times.
If I can, no, I've it's probably
It's
substantially.
not like you have
more
a
than that,
restaurant,
actually.
dude.
It's probably way more than that. I've
How many
definitely
hours
cooked
are on
more
that
than
Traeger?
anything
Like, if
else.
you could check it a boat mode.
Yeah,
Adam
we'll
Bourdain.
scroll it back, dude. We'll check the cook.
There
time.
isn't that many hours on it, but all the hours are wings.
Well, yeah.
All right. Stolsky with barbecue sauce, Chick-fil-A sauce, honey mustard, and Asian zing.
Strong.
I like
Strong.
that. I like that
That's
one.
very
It's a
good.
good list.
And then Jay with Frank's thick sauce, heartbeat hot sauce, jalapeno cream cheese,
Mm.
and brown gravy.
That's
That's
very
strong.
good.
That's strong.
Very
That
strong.
sounds so unhealthy.
Strong.
It
High
does, but
cholesterol. Mine's
goddamn,
high
does it sound
cholesterol
good.
list.
All right.
Strong
What do,
picks. Strong
what do you
picks.
guys got for honorable mentions? I got 3.
Fire them off, dude.
I got Dijon mustard,
Ooh,
Yeah.
yep.
Buffalo Wild Wings hot barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
They brought that back recently. That's a great one. I don't know if it's considered a condiment or not, but based off of the top, the tater and cream cheese, I think it would be guac.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
Okay.
yeah, that's
Oh.
it's hard to
I think
say.
it's right on the line, but it could be,
Yeah.
you know.
Could be.
I
No,
think
those are
so.
good. Those are good ones too.
I
big one?
had sweet and hot mustard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like
a sweet and hot.
a spicier. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Um,
some that came to mind, like a sweet chili sauce.
Yeah.
Like a
Yup.
sweet chili.
Yup.
The other one, like a fry sauce. I don't know if it's more, I think maybe more prevalent out here, like fry sauce in Montana, which is basically like mayo and ketchup, I think. Maybe like some,
Okay.
how do you say, Worcestershire?
Worcestershire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of that in there, fry sauce.
Did
and
you learn
then-
that in Patagonia or what?
No, that's a Montana. It's ketchup and mayo down there. That's it. And then my third one was my favorite hot sauce, which is Marie Sharp's. I think we've discussed this before. It's from Belize. Marie Sharp's. Have you guys ever had this hot sauce?
I'm
No.
not.
Oh, a tremendous hot sauce. Awesome
Incredible.
hot sauce. Marie Sharp's. It's very good. Those are my three.
Jay,
That's
did you
all.
have anything extra?
I mean, a big one in Canada is vinegar. We put vinegar all over our French fries. That's very common.
Sure.
Really? So are
Yeah.
you not a Tabasco fan then?
I don't mind Tabasco. I don't use it that often.
I heard you
Tastes a lot
mention
stinks.
sour cream, and I was like, that's a big miss. I feel like
Yeah,
by
sour cream's a
everybody.
big one.
I think that could have showed up. Well.
Especially like seasoned sour cream, dude.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, with waffle fries.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Sobe, did you have any others or no?
Yeah, I had just like OG teriyaki sauce. I feel like you're a wingman.
Ooh, the
you
yak,
can't
dude.
you
Yeah.
can't miss a teriyaki, and even just like a Kiko Man soy sauce. That's you can do
that's
so
good.
much with that.
Mhm.
Good soy. Yeah, that's a good
It can
one.
be your good base for any marinade, anything like that.
I guess
done
when I
good,
thought like condiments, I was sort of in my brain thinking like stuff that you dip into, like, and I think we all picked sort of that way, but like, stuff you could dip a fry into that would be good.
Yeah.
It could be like, or something you could like put on a burger or like, on a dog.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think we've done good, boys. We'll have the listeners vote on this. I think it's going to be a close one.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
will
strong.
be.
Side bets.
For the record, I would like to say that I did win the appetizer pool. I just went and looked on Instagram.
Shut up.
Oh,
Yeah, I won the appetizer pool.
Not a chance, dude.
I don't think
I
I
mean,
was
you
at
can
one
look at
time,
Instagram
Adam
poll.
said that square cheese curds.
Yeah,
for the
Jay,
deal.
No,
Jay,
no,
Jay,
it was
no,
best
everyone
round
shut-
things.
No contest. Jay, if I asked you, give me one word that describes the shape of a cheese curd, what would you say?
I feel like I was set up because I heard somebody say square. So if I say square, I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know what the shape is. The shape's
Whatever feels
irregular.
right.
I would say irregular.
Ovular.
Ovular.
But
Probably
would you say round?
Oval oval is
I would
round.
say chunky. Chunky?
Would you say round?
No, I'd probably say chunky because
Would you say they have hard edges like a square? Or would you say they're
I-
more round?
I feel trapped
Angles
right
with it.
now.
Yeah.
Like, would you say there's a lot of 90-degree angles happening at?
I have cheese
And
curds in
cheese
my
curd?
fridge right now. I can pull them out.
I
Do they
think-
I
look
bet
90
they're
degrees?
round. I bet they're
I
round.
bet they're not.
Are they squeaky?
They're squeaky.
Squeaky.
All right.
All right.
Well, we don't need to steal any more Jay's time.
Yeah.
You're good.
That was
Thank
tremendous.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
guys.
much.
That was
for
good.
Thank you,
coming on.
Jay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and Jay listed off right here. If anybody would like to follow Jay, maybe they're brand new to hearing his name, brand new to hearing his stuff. Where can they find you?
You know what? No. I don't want you to follow me. I want you to go to Ryan Pincala's Instagram and shoot him a DM and tell him to quit his job. That's all I want. I don't want
There
you to
we
watch my videos. Just DM Ryan. That's all I ask.
Deal.
Ryan's
light the
gonna
fire.
get so many DMs since we're the number 1 outdoor podcast in the world.
It's going to be
eight
incredible,
weeks
honestly.
running.
So many DMs.
Congrats.
I really felt that.
He's so
thank you.
gonna. This is gonna backfire. He's gonna end up on your couch. He's gonna end up stealing your hot sauce.
3 months from now, we're gonna have Jay Siemens back for an interview, and Ryan will be in the same picture, and we'll be like, "Well,
You'll be well fed.
Be
You'll be
melting
pissed.
swim baits in your garage
Living,
before
living
you know what
chef. It's
happens.
perfect. Making
Yeah.
baits and cooking.
Yeah, it'll be huffing lead and whipping up wings. It'll be good.
Oh,
No,
Oh
but
my
seriously,
God.
thank you so much for coming on here, Jay. I know
no
you're
problem. Good times,
Busy as
guys.
all
Thank
heck.
you.
So
Thank you, Jay.
Nice
Have a
seeing
good
you,
one.
Jay.
Yeah.
All
Have
right.
a good night.
Message Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Jeez.
well, that was Jay Siemens. He's an awesome dude. Please go follow his YouTube channel. I think it's just Jay Siemens, correct?
Which
Yeah.
Jay
But-
Siemens,
yes,
Joe?
and he puts out the most incredible films, dude. Like,
yeah,
like actual, like sit down, watch it like a movie type.
yeah, make
films.
some
They're incredible.
popcorn. Amazing storyteller, amazing videographer, amazing angler, and in kind of like the boys were saying, he's done so much. He's just, yeah, he's been on a lot of different adventures, and if you're just not into walleye fishing or bass fishing or whatever, he's somebody to check out because he does a little bit of everything, and he'll take you along the way. So check him out.
Unreal. That was fun, guys. That was really good.
That was actually, Adam, you brought up a good point. That draft was a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be fairly thin. Like, I
thought we were going to get to the third round and we were all screwed.
I know, but there's a lot of condiments out there. So, and I think
There's so
everyone
many.
drafted well. So,
And I feel like
But
we probably forgot some too.
Yeah. I feel like there was a couple, like some of the ones Jay had though, that I'm gonna be like, what's this about?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Sneaky
gonna be
ones.
looking that
Yeah.
up.
some sneaky ones. Marie Sharps, you guys got to try it. If you like hot sauce, it is tremendous.
Yeah.
Worth ordering on Amazon for sure. That's the
I
only
will
good-
check it out. I will have to check
Dude,
it
I've been
out.
so loaded on that log stuff though. It's just
Dude,
like,
it's so good. Logan's
What's
hot
up?
sauce is phenomenal.
this guy, one of Bart, what is it, your high school buddy or
No, we
something?
went to college together.
College. Okay.
Does he sell it domestically?
Yeah. He started a business like during, I guess, like
During COVID.
whatever. He
Sure.
like started making in his kitchen or whatever, and it's like growing like it's good.
And it's a
I
solid,
just actually
solid
got a
sauce.
what?
It's a good hot sauce.
Very
Well,
good.
he has like there's like a bunch of different ones.
Oh wow.
So there's like a pineapple one, there's like a mango habanero one, there's
The
whatever-
lime one's really good too.
Oh yeah, the
Yum.
lime one's insane.
And it's
Whatever,
just
the
called
Reaper
Logan's.
Logs.
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 Logs
LOG.
hot sauce. Yeah.
Word. I'm always
Shout
on the
out
lookout
Logs
for-
hot sauce.
Yeah.
Shout
But
out.
He
check
gave it.
him out. Yeah, he's
We just
dude's
get
in
some for
Minnesota.
like the Chronicles and everything. Definitely not a sponsor or anything. We totally just grab it because we're like, this is a good hot sauce.
Sure.
I just got like 6 more bottles.
Well, and to be a sponsor of the pod, I mean, people have to.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. No,
like
we
I
don't
said,
expect. We don't expect it. You know,
I'm not
big
getting
company
bad
deal
in
to
my
pony
face,
up.
you know.
Right. It's
Yeah.
4 PF, you know,
Yeah.
like it's a lot. So
But, you know, I'm like dumping that on still, you know.
word. Shout out to Logs. Logs.
Logs.
Logs.
Logs.
Logged.
All right, boys. So we do have we got another Bassmaster Derb coming up next week, so we're not going to record before that. So we're going to burn through the fantasy picks for this one. Lake Murray is where it's at, right? That's this next.
Yeah,
event.
it'll be at Murray, which is in South Carolina. Yeah, the bags there. Like, if you're gonna watch a Bassmaster event live, last year's Bassmaster event on Murray was awesome. Like, it's a very fun fishery to watch
What
a live
same time of
tournament.
year.
Is it gonna
Yeah,
is it gonna be a slugfest?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think
There's
it's going
just
to be
a-
fun to watch on live?
There's just so many 4 to 6 pounders.
Yeah.
They're going to lean.
Like,
on
And
it.
just
then
a
there's
ton
like
of
some
them.
there's like some 10 pounders too, right?
I don't know about 10s, but yeah, 8s. Yeah, like there's just a lot of big bass. There's a lot of bass in it. It's really healthy right now.
Plug-in.
Last year's live footage was awesome. This one's going to be really good too because beginning of May, kind of down south, what we're heading into is the herring spawn and the shad spawn. And this place has a ton of shad and a ton of herring. So there's 2 different types of shad spawns going on. And that's going to be a very big factor in this tournament, as well as last year there was a lot of sight fishing going on. Fish were on beds. I don't remember if it was the same time last year or a hair earlier, but from what I've seen, the fish tend to spawn later there. And I mean, based off of what I've seen down south, and the St. John's just got one with bedded fish in Florida in the end of April. I would expect to see a decent amount of fish still on beds. And that's why when you were asking earlier, Sobe, if I thought it would be a live scope derby, I mean, it could be, but like this tournament last year was sick to watch because every day in the morning, you basically saw guys tossing the Magnum spooks or the saltwater spooks as far as they possibly can on a point and just absolutely burning it. And you just see 5-pounder just wow. and
it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be it's going to be a slammer.
That's sick.
It'll be super cool event. It was last year, and I'm expecting it to be this year. And based off the points where we're sitting right now, so like we said, we nailed down what the punishment is yet?
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. We're still leaving it open because we've been getting some, people submitting some things that are good.
Yeah, DM us on Instagram if you have punishment ideas for.
I'm done recommending stuff now that I'm at the end because I'm slowly getting to things that I actually don't want to do.
But give us a scoreboard update.
Yeah. So right now we got Honor leading with 10 points. Once again, we do this golf style. So like you can join our fantasy group and do it. There's like over 1,000 points and stuff up for grabs. They keep track there. We do it golf score style here of if you win, you get 1, second, you get 2, whatever, just to keep it competitive for us and figure out who wins and us 4. So Honor has 10 through 5 events. Pink has 12. And then me and Sobe are tied with 14. So it's very tight still. I mean, it's a lot shaken up compared to last year where it was just a blowout right away. Scores are really good. They're really tight. We need some ideas for some punishments. We're open for all of them. What's a few we've gotten DM to us, Pink?
Let's see. We had I don't even know. We have a list going in the Google thing.
I had mentioned, the one idea I had that I mentioned was just that you have to drive 35 all the way south and then turn around and drive back.
I think the polar plunge is still on the table.
Polar plunge on the table. We could still do the turkey trot.
That one still needs to be done. I mean, Stolsky's still in the hole 1 punishment here.
Yeah, this year might be the year.
I would just at this point take you doing a 5K. Like if you just went and live streamed on the PTB Instagram and we're like, here we go. And you just ran with the donkey. I think that'd be good. Mule. Sorry, not donkey.
Yeah. There's a huge difference. Thank you for clarifying. Could I just ride Monk for a 5K? I mean, that in itself is a challenge.
Yes. If you live stream it on the PTB Insta.
Because he is so tough to ride because he tries
to ride Monk.
He can tell when you start to like back off him a little bit, then he tries to get out from underneath you, and then you have to spin him, and then you just spin him and spin him and spin him until he stops. So
all right, we'll allow the Monk ride, but you have to
spin him and spin him and spin him.
That's what Ron, the guy that owns Monk,
6 shots, 5K Monk ride,
and you just like dig into his like one side and you spin him, just spin, and then he finally stops. That'd be
Monk ride. You're good. I think I speak for all of us and PTB listeners. We're in. We just need video recording.
Yeah, I'll saddle up Monk here one of these days, and we'll go for a little bit of a cruise.
Perfect.
That's all, dude. If you can video yourself going for any distance of a cruise with Monk and you video record it, I feel like debt's paid.
I think
we'll be good. We'll stop bringing it up then. It'll be perfect.
That's fair. I'll take it.
Okay, so now we got to do fantasy picks for Murray.
All right.
You want to read Honor's first?
Yeah, I'll read his right now. So he's obviously not here, but he did send in his picks. So he's going bucket A, JT Tompkins. B, Patrick Walters, Brandon Polnick, Brandon Cobb, and taking Ike, bucket E.
Good group. This one's hard to pick because there's a lot of guys I think that can do very well here.
I think Polnick's a good pick. Hasn't he? He's done well there, right?
I don't remember.
I don't know if he's done well.
I don't know if he's done well, but I know he's kind of due to do really.
Yeah,
well.
He's due.
He's due. He always does. He's due.
I think he was a popular pick overall so
he
far.
Is. Yeah.
Sure. So.
All right, Pink, who you got?
All right, let me just get to it right here. So I got bucket A. I'm going back to Jay Lee for bucket A on this one. And then taking Patrick Walters. I went with Polnick as well and Brandon Cobb. My bucket E, though, taking Matt Robertson.
I like it. I like it. What are you at, Sobe?
I'm at bucket A. Jordan Lee. He's been consistent all year. Didn't live that far away. Bucket B. Kiyoya Fujita.
Like it a lot.
Bucket C, Taku Itu.
Like
Oh,
it
boy.
even more.
Bucket D, Kenta Kimura.
Oh, you're going heavy.
It's the Asian invasion. And bucket E, I'm bringing it home with Matthew Robertson, just like Rye.
Nice.
Love it. Love it.
All right.
Sponsored by Ugly Stick, right? That's the guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Bucket A. I wanted to do Trey because he just keeps catching them, but I feel like it'll stop if I pick him. So I couldn't do it.
Trey.
I'm doing Matt Airy.
Trey.
Matt Airy, he's having a great year, fishing really well. He's from North Carolina.
Sure.
Doing Drew Benton. I think he won it last time. Very good sight fisherman. Doing Shane LaHue. He is from that area, North Carolina. And then I'm doing Brian New. He lives there and last year did awful. So I think he's going to
Naturally.
I will tell you this, Brian
do a
Neal
lot
is
better.
either
Flat,
gonna
Adam.
win this
Fish the
tournament or
flat.
do so bad.
Yeah, he's either going to
Flat
be
of
like
dream.
top 3 or terrible. So
Yep.
I'm hoping he exercises some demons this time.
Yeah,
And then
he
Bucket
knows
E, I'm on the same board as all you guys. I went Matt Robertson.
Yeah.
Love
Like
it.
this is
And
his
Rob.
zone.
What do you guys got for weights?
I just went 90 even.
Okay.
Honor said 93.14.
Okay. Sobe.
I did 88.3. I think it's gonna be a little lighter.
Wow, I got the lightest one out of the crew. I went 83.7.
Yeah.
But it's going to be in that 80 to 90 range, I would imagine.
Can I pick a couple? Not
Yeah. Honorable
Yeah.
mentions. Honorable
Fired
mentions.
off.
I'd like to pick Rick Clunn.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Repaying your debts all across the board, aren't you?
I'd
now?
like
Would you like to say
Yeah, maybe
anything,
we
Will?
can circle
Yeah,
back
Would you
on
like to say
this.
Would you
anything
like
for
to
the
speak your
Bassmaster
piece?
fans?
Say your
I'd like
piece?
to apologize to the Rick Clunn and the Rick Clunn camp after I dogged on him so hard last week or 2 weeks ago. It was not him that made that Facebook post. It was Bernie Schultz. Okay.
It was
Bernie.
a little bit of a misfired.
They're
shot
both
there.
white-haired guys that have been fishing the elites for a long time. I got confused,
Oh my god.
and it was Bernie, not Rick Clunn.
Shout out Bernie.
Goddamn Bernie.
Shout out Bernie.
So shout out Bernie. Shout out Rick Clunn. Most importantly, he's still fishing the elites, right? He's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I pick Rick. then I pick I know I'm not in buckets or anything, but so I pick Rick, I pick Jordan Lee. I think that's a good pick. Like someone said, he lives fairly close to there.
Yeah.
Then I pick one of the Asian guys, whichever one.
You had no mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
you can't go
Someone
wrong.
From
You
One
can't
of
go
the-
wrong.
Someone
That's
from
betting on the
Japan.
house.
one of the
Betting on that.
JDM boys. I pick one of them, and then I pick. So I have 4. Is it 5?
JDM boys.
You get?
Can't
Do I
go
get
wrong.
5 or 4?
You get 5.
Okay, so the 4th one I pick. What's the guy that won the classic? Hamner,
Justin Hamner.
who some people might forget. Last season, I haven't forgotten. We were doing some rounds. I picked him in one of the derbies because I liked his name. I thought he had a good name, Hamner. You know, Hammer. I pick him, and then for the 5th one, I'm gonna pick kind of a wild card. Greg Hackney still fishing the elites.
Yeah, he made the
is.
final. Yeah, he was on live the final day
I
of the
picked the
St.
hack
John.
attack. I think he might drop the hack bomb on him this week.
That's a
Especially
good
if
one.
there's some betting action going on, it could be a little shallow game. I
Sure.
think he
I-
could play. He
Could
That
be.
guy
big
can
time.
huck a spinnerbait too. That could be
certainly
going on
can.
with the spawn.
Just chucking wine, brother.
Man, I throw that thing out there and I just I got this low gear ratio reel from Quantum
Ooh.
and I kind of crank
Quantum.
it back pretty slow like that, you know? And yeah, I pick hack. That's my 5th.
I like
I
that.
like it.
Love it.
That's solid.
Of course, doesn't matter, but
No, it
No,
doesn't.
honorable mentions are important.
honorable mentions. Yeah, one of the JDM boys, though, I think might take her home. I know you do. You got the spread. I mean,
I know, dude.
Nobody's either gonna do so good or so bad.
I know, dude. I know, dude. I decided to build a lineup where I'm like, we either jump this week or we burn.
You're going to need to eat some serious
Sobe's got
sushi the next 9 days to keep it
Yeah.
going.
Sobe's got the Pacific theater covered pretty well here. Okay.
Oh my God.
Shout out to them boys. So.
Incredible. But we'll see how it plays out. It should be a fun one to watch. At least there should be some big bass getting slayed. So
Yeah.
it'll be good to see. But it's next week. So.
And I want to say this is kind of the halfway point in the Elite Series.
Yeah, they're 5 in. So this is 6, and then they got one on Smith, and then they got 2 up north, I think. So
it's going to get serious really fast.
yeah.
How are the just to maybe just talk about it just a little bit longer, but how are the northern boys doing? The Minnesota guys that are fishing, like Fighter and Felix too. And
Yeah, Fighter's
Bobby.
not having a good year.
No.
Yeah.
Felix,
Struggling.
Felix is doing decent, I believe.
he could do well here, right? He fishes pretty well.
Felix
I
kind of
think-
just catches him everywhere, to be honest. He's
Okay,
good at just making sure he's around him.
sure.
He's not having the best year.
But he hasn't been finishing at the top. Like he's
No,
like consistently in like the middle.
Yeah, he's normally gets a top 10 or 2 down south, and he hasn't yet. So he's ranked 49th in fantasy now. So I don't know where he is in Angler of the Year
Is
race.
Bob Downey in the Elite Series?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob's having probably the best year out of
Okay,
the
nice.
guys.
Seems like a
He's-
nice guy. Don't know him, but seems
Bob
like a
stays
real-
consistent, dude. And Bob is an extremely underrated angler.
He is.
Like he's hot fire.
Does that kind of round it out for the northern guys? I'm talking
Well, like
Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Yeah, Minnesota
Pat
specifically.
Schwab.
Like
Jay.
Jay Shakura is like, he's been catching them.
How do you say his last name?
Shakira.
Really?
If you
I
could-
always thought
If you could spell it right now, I'll give you $1,000 cash on God's honor.
Well, it starts with a
Sure.
P.
No, yes, but no, I'll give you.
Well,
the second
but there's
letter.
like more letters.
Yeah, but it starts with a P. It's like PREZ, right? Right?
Close. Is it PZ or is it PREZ?
I don't know. I didn't know how to say his last name. So
I guess Bob isn't having that great of a year. They're all middle of the pack right now. Now that I'm looking at it.
okay. But Northern Swing is coming towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they only got 2 northern swings, I believe. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Where did they go? St. Clair and
I
don't
think
even
it's
know what
St.
the
Lawrence and Champlain
Oh, Champlain. yeah.
again. I'm looking real quick because I want to.
That
Yeah,
is-
they got Murray. Oh, they got Wheeler too. I forgot about that one. So they got Lake Murray, and then they go to Wheeler.
Okay.
The second week of June, that'll be very interesting. And then over almost July 4th weekend, they're going to be on Smith Lake. That's going to be wild.
Scope City, brother.
Not necessarily for the fishing, everything else going on. That's going to be very
Sure.
interesting.
We're talking all the chicks.
Yeah. Yep. And then
We'll be watching live.
Lake Champlain and then St. Lawrence River to end it. So yeah, it's kind of a weird year for the northern boys, to be
Okay.
honest.
So it doesn't set up great for the
No, not based off of where they went. And they started in Texas and
And
Okay.
especially if they didn't start off the season good.
no.
Yeah.
So but Chris and Corey Johnston are catching the fire out of them. Those guys are
Oh, and
unreal.
they are the true northern boys, I guess. So
Yeah, they're
Gussie,
catching
Gussie.
Yeah. Yep. Gussie ain't having a great year either. But Chris and Corey just catching the living shit out of them 24/7.
They are, dude. They're
Yep.
tearing things down.
Corey just won the St. John's, so he didn't even have to fish the last day.
And what did Chris get? Top 10.
Yeah, top 10. I don't
Shout out to
remember
them
exactly
boys.
where, but yeah,
Catching them.
they'd be a good one to have on eventually. I know Honor knows them.
I'd like to get some of them the JDM boys on here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Fill the
could get them
screen.
all on. We'll just call it
Taku.
the JDM boys.
Yeah,
Kia.
let's say with them JDM boys, you know.
Yeah, get Kent on. He drinks on average 8 Red Bulls a day. Yeah.
That's my
Legit.
You
Yeah,
bring the
right.
NRG, dude.
Yeah, he drinks a lot of Red Bull.
That's intense.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of
Live fast, die young.
Little
JDM
man
does it
lot
well.
of Red Bull.
gang.
But all right, Pink, you got anything else?
I think that does it for tonight, boys. I think we did good. Jay was awesome. Hopefully we'll chat with him maybe another time, but it was good to have him on and catch up. I don't know if any of us have really conversed much in like, a while. So it was cool to chat and see what he's got going on. And it'd be exciting to kind of see some of the projects he's got in the works too coming. So
yeah,
that was sick. But yeah, I think we're going to be ramping up with fishing. This weekend is the fishing opener in Wisconsin, and the following weekend is the Minnesota opener. So things are going to start ramping up. I know everyone's kind of got their boats and everybody's fishing.
Mhm.
Stolsky's back up in Montana, casting some flies around.
We're drifting for sure.
Drifting.
Bart has the Jude. We got the UWSP alumni tournament.
that should have quite.
That's
a few
no big money,
stories.
but that's
This
all
is going to be a
bragging rights.
shootout, dude.
You think,
Mhm.
hey, Sobe, you should invite Jake Lewis over to the old stomping ground.
I should, dude.
Yeah,
He could puke in my yard again, and I could find his Fitbit. It'd be electric.
Dude, so Rusty's is the same day as the tournament.
Oh, okay.
So if you're trying to crawl later, we can
Yeah.
hit that up after the weigh-in.
We're gonna have some good stories on the next podcast. I
There's
think.
gonna be. They won't be bad.
No. But
Is
all right,
Honor
boys,
gonna be there too?
I think so.
potentially. He's been flaky about the decision-making process involved in being there. So.
Sounds like Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else?
That'll do it.
All right. We'll wrap this up then. This has been another episode of Pass the Barb, and we'll see you on the next one.